But my beats, they are hard.
All right. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the BCSN SportsWrap. AD Drew, Bryan Fulford here. Wherever you are watching the show, hopefully you are safe. Indoors, right? Safe and staying warm. I am less affected probably than Drew. With have they given the weather storm system? Have they given it a name yet? Because the meteorologists and the news people like to do that.
It's something with an F. I don't remember what it was, but it was something with a F. I can't remember the name of it.
I can send me down all kinds of places I'm not supposed to go, but
no, nothing.
Nothing like that.
There it is. Thank you, Blue Jacket.
What did he say? Fern?
Yes. I remember it was up.
Wait a minute. So the weather. So wait a minute. The weather. Fern. I mean, I thought they were naming hurricanes. They're naming winter storm systems.
Yeah, winter storm. Fern.
That's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. What happened to names like Snowmageddon or Ice Monster or so? I don't know.
Ice baby.
Yeah, I remember Snowmageddon. Remember that? I remember that one. All right. Well, appreciate it, Blue Jacket. Winter storm Fern. However it's affecting you, be safe. And, hopefully everybody makes it through the storm. Hello to everybody watching us wherever and however you're watching us. Those of you on our YouTube feeds, my JBN Online, the BCSN SportsWrap YouTube page, possibly Facebook, Black College Sports Network, BCSN SportsWrap Facebook page. Hello to all the people there. The folks watching on Twitter, the Black College Sports Network, as well as Instagram Live is also available. Don't have anybody there yet. And hello to you. And what is that supposed to be? Oh, ice.
My backyard this morning.
Ice. Yeah, ice dripping off in Atlanta. In Atlanta. Nice. Ice, baby.
Well, I got one more.
See, I never zoomed in
Atlanta. Here we go.
Go to the next picture. See, I didn't know what that was. I couldn't tell if that was snow.
Which one?
That's what? That picture right there. What is that? That's the tarp of
That's a tent that I have in the backyard where my grandson plays at when he's outside.
Okay.
And that's the icicles off of the tent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I was wondering, I was looking and I was kind of like, interesting. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully everybody's, your internet may be running a little bit slow. I see Emmett. Hello, Coach Green. Mary 305 checking in early. Thank you for being a JBN subscriber.
Coach Green might like them rankings when they come out.
Coach said, I'm just here for the rankings, man. I'm just here for the rankings. Well, at least you're here. Thank you, Coach. Everybody who's coming in, I know some others will be coming in here shortly. Do me a favor, those of you who are in early, go and hit the thumbs up and the like button. if you would for me. I'd greatly appreciate that. Let's save something real quick that I saw. We just have a final, the first of 2 games on Championship Sunday. And how amazing how the weather changed in Denver, Colorado. The first, half? I mean, we had cold, and at least we had a green field. We had a green turf. And then the second half, it was like a blizzard. Now, I don't know if it was quite a blizzard, but let's just say snowy conditions quickly covered the field to the point. Did you see the digital field markings that CBS put down on top of the field? Did you happen to catch that portion?
I mean, they were.
I mean,
yeah,
literally, they had the hash marks. It was really a digital outline of the field in white, so you could see it over top of the snow. And I'm talking in addition to the first down marker, the line of scrimmage marker. It was pretty complex. I think that was the first time I'd seen that. And then they went away from it for some reason. I guess they were
probably confusing the heck out of people.
Maybe a little too much.
You could do too much and get a visual overload, overly stimulated.
Yeah, exactly. So, of course they had the snow blowers. But anyway, what was the halftime score? 7-7?
7-7.
Yeah, a bad mistake by the Denver Broncos probably cost them a chance of going to the Super Bowl. Quarterback instead of just taking a sack, he tried to, I don't know what he was doing. He tried to shovel or toss a ball away. They ended up at first saying it was an incomplete pass. Then they came back and said, no, it was a foot.
No.
I don't know.
First it was intentional grounding. Yeah, incomplete pass. Then it was intentional grounding.
Then intentional grounding, right?
Yeah, and somewhere in there it was a fumble return for a touchdown that was wiped off because the whistle
blew. They wiped that off
because of the
quick.
whistle.
Maybe they probably was too quick of a whistle.
Yeah, and the thing was they didn't hear the whistle initially on the broadcast. Also,
no, I guess they did. No.
Yeah. And then, but yeah, I was gonna say that Blue Jacket in the first half they should have kicked the field goal, and I think they were inside the 10.
Yes,
on that 4th and
1. The one time Tony got a prediction right. They should have kicked the field goal when they had the chance, and they would have been up 10-0.
Yes,
and it turns out that not kicking the field goal at that point in time. Then they came back later and tried to kick a field goal from further distance, and their reliable kicker missed it.
Both kickers missed it at that point.
Both kickers were missing. But by the time the second half came around, it was just, the weather conditions were bad.
And for me, you're Denver. You're at home. In that situation, you know better than anybody else how quickly things can deteriorate.
You should have.
And that every point matters.
Yep.
So exactly, Blue Jacket. Anyway, we're gonna do our best to get you out of here so at least you can catch the second half of the 49ers Seahawks game.
Rams
Seahawks. I'm sorry.
Rams. Come on, you being a former Rams fan, you should have.
When was I a Rams fan?
When they were in St. Louis. No. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
I mean, I gave them their props when they brought the Super Bowl to St. Louis, but I was never a diehard Rams fan.
Okay.
Put it like this: the Rams to me when I was in St. Louis are like the Falcons to be here in Atlanta. I follow them because they're the local team, but I was never a true fan. I never had a jersey.
Okay. Well,
but I did have a hat.
It just makes me wonder, are we watching the start of another Patriots dynasty, man? That's all I can say. Are we watching the start of another one? Good God.
I hope not. Lord.
I hope not either, man. I can't.
Although I like Mike Vrabel, but I can't do that.
Yeah, I really can't either. I had enough decades of torture in my other
including the
life.
St. Louis Rams,
Yes, exactly.
where
Yeah.
it's all started at.
So I'll be well, and you know what? Wouldn't it be great to see? Now Charles Edmond called this. He said it'd be great to have a rematch, Rams, Patriots, right? And hopefully this time the Rams can win.
Well, if I recall correctly, I think that was played in New Orleans, the Super Bowl
It was New
that
Orleans.
the
Yes.
Patriots won.
Yep. The Tom Brady fill-in for Drew Bledsoe, and I think that was the year after. Either that was the year of 9/11.
That was.
It was the year
because the Patriots won.
Yeah, and everyone was all.
That was just 4 months later.
They're the Patriots and blah blah blah, and everyone was all. Anyway, man, keep that. But
yeah,
the next game should be.
But hold up, Brian. But what about the rubber match of Seattle?
Thank you.
And
that's where I was going to go. That's what we get. Oh, wait a minute. Who?
If Seattle wins,
yeah,
because Seattle really should have beaten them both times.
No, there was only one time that.
That's right. Played. Seattle was supposed to repeat, and they didn't.
Either way, Drew, somebody gets a rematch against the Patriots because they both lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They both lost to the Patriots
in games that they should have won. Both teams should have won.
Yeah, but that's what the Patriots do, man. They win games that everyone thinks they shouldn't have won. All right, well, coming up on today's show, we got a lot of recapping to do from the past week of basketball. We'll talk about how Winter Storm Fern has affected the basketball schedule the last few days and what kind of effects it may have over the next couple days. By my count, here's a listing of some of the schools that had games postponed. Maryland Eastern Shore, North Carolina Central, Shaw, Livingstone, Morehouse, Fort Valley State, Savannah State, Langston, all had games that were postponed Saturday, or maybe most teams played Thursday. So it's probably mostly yesterday. All those games were postponed. If there's anybody on that list that I didn't mention, you guys in the chat, let me know. But so those games were postponed, and then we'll see how the weather affects Monday, because really the storm is sitting over the country right now in everywhere north of Florida, I guess. So it's the one again.
I can give you a little bit of what's happening on Monday. At least in my conference, the games that were moved to Monday, I don't know if they've officially changed it on our schedule. Let me look and see. But the games that were scheduled for Monday have been postponed.
Okay. So all of the SIAC games from Monday have been postponed.
Well, so far, officially, oh no, this is a non-SIAC game. The Claflin-Benedict game as a non-conference game has been postponed in the SIAC. On the men's side, I doubt seriously if Clark Atlanta and Tuskegee travels to Clark Atlanta. Lemoyne having to travel to Edward Waters is probably not going to happen. And the reason why these games are not going to happen tomorrow, all of these teams would have had to travel today, except for Tuskegee, who could have traveled tomorrow. But the conditions in Alabama are tough, so that they're probably not going to be able to get out because the weather's not going to clear out the Atlanta area till 12 o'clock. And then with the different power outages and everything else, you got to worry about actually staffing the game. So most people are erring on the side of caution. So thus far in the SIAC, 2 games have been postponed for tomorrow, that being the Spring Hill Morehouse game and Claflin-Benedict.
Okay.
And then the Albany State Savannah State game, which was supposed to be this weekend, it originally was pushed back to Sunday. That game has now been pushed back to Tuesday.
Mm.
So, and SIAC did do one good thing. A lot of teams decided to go back to back. Thursday being a regular conference game day. A lot of teams decided to go ahead and play on Friday. So games that were moved up include Central State, Allen. Allen defeated Central State 83-81 on Friday. Miles defeated Fort Valley State 84-81 on Friday, and Benedict beat the snot out of Kentucky State 64-46. Those games all happened on Friday.
Gotcha. All right. There it is. Also coming up on the show, we'll talk about some of the streaks that are happening right now in men and women's college basketball. There's a healthy number of interesting streaks that are happening. So we'll talk about those. We'll talk about some of the matchups. Also, we have an interesting debate that I saw. Actually, that was started. I can't even take credit for it. It's I saw on the HBCU Go. Might have been the crossover show that and I saw Liv at Live for Hoops and some comments that or in the segment it was a clip of her with Tali Carr, and so it brought up an interesting question about the best coaching jobs that we're seeing right now in men or women's college basketball. Some first year head coaching jobs, and then some head coaching jobs for the first time at their school, worth mentioning. So we'll talk about that. And got a special guest coming up at the top of hour 2 as we make a pivot, away a little bit from the norm at this time of the year. We're going to talk with Jason Breyo of Lacrosse Around Atlanta.
Also, Bryan, Tony Suber will be on in that segment also from Lacrosse Around Atlanta. So we have 2 guests.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. Maybe send me that text as well, so that way I'll make sure I have that name as well. So, but there's an event coming to the A in the end of February, right?
Yes, February 21st.
Yeah, February 21st. A lacrosse event is coming to HBCU, Morehouse College. And so we'll get a chance to kind of talk a little bit about the sport of lacrosse in this event. And I know lacrosse do we have any HBCUs playing lacrosse right now?
We have 2 playing lacrosse, one on the Division I level, one on the Division II level. We have Hampton on the Division I level, and Virginia State on the Division II level. As you know, lacrosse is big up in the Northeast region where those 2 institutions are located at.
Right. Not to be lost that both of those schools are in Virginia. And so seeing lacrosse being we could call it an emerging sport, maybe. I don't know. But at least it's a collegiate sport opportunity that those 2 institutions offer. Oh, and then we'll have
Lawrence added that. I was unaware of those 2.
Okay, that would seem right that Howard has women's lacrosse, but appreciate you adding in. Yeah, so that makes it a total of 4. 3 on. I'm assuming Delaware State and Howard would be. Well, wait a minute. If Delaware State and Howard are women, who else? I thought Virginia State was women.
No, Virginia State's men.
Virginia State's men.
And Hampton are men.
Okay. Well, see, clarifying for me now. So 2 men's programs, 2 women's programs. I need to write that in the notes because
wait a minute. I think UDC plays lacrosse also.
We'll have to do.
We're gonna have to do. I got to do that.
An AI Google search.
I know UDC used to play lacrosse. I'm not sure if they still do play lacrosse.
Okay. Well, we'll figure all that out here.
We
And
got to
then
the
we'll
top of
have
the
the
hour.
BCSN top 5 rankings for week number 3. Week number 3 on the Division 2 level. Week number 2 on the NAIA and Division 1 level. Gotta get that. Gotta make sure I get that down. All right. Want to thank everybody again for coming in, joining the show. Hit the thumbs up and the like button wherever you're watching. Appreciate you guys coming in. All right, let's get into talking.
Bryan, just before we jump off of it, UDC plays both men and women. They're the only looks like they're the only HBCU that plays both men's and women's lacrosse.
So we are okay. See, I'm
So we had
not
6.
to be okay. So UDC technically is a historically black college university. Are they?
Yes.
Or just okay. Did not know that. See, well, I learned something new. I knew they were. I thought they were similar to like a Chicago State, a school, or maybe even a Pembroke.
MSI.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were necessarily categorized as an HBCU.
Yes.
All right. So I just gotta write this down because I did not know that Delaware State and Howard have women's. Well, what is Lawrence saying? Yes. Oh, okay. I see what he's saying. Delaware State and Howard have women's lacrosse. All right. All right. Let's take a second and we can either go streaks that are happening right now, because this is what sent me down the rabbit hole. I'll tell you where this idea came from. As I was paying attention to various little things that I like to do on Saturday morning, college, I saw an interesting stat come across my timeline that said Texas Southern has defeated Alabama A&M men's basketball 22 consecutive times. And I don't know what the percentages were or what the favorites and all that stuff, but I was just like, what? 22 times? 22. I mean, you don't play everybody twice, but if you did, we're talking at minimum a decade of beating somebody.
Plus you got tournament also in it, Ryan.
Possibly turn. That's why I'm saying at minimum you're talking a 10 or 11 year period. I didn't get a chance to ask Coach Petway about this, and if by any chance,
I hope that's not what drove him out of coaching.
Look, well, maybe did the streak start after Coach Petway? Maybe it started after Petway. That I didn't get a chance to ask him because, like I said, when I saw this, it was actually after the Carlos Brown show. So I didn't get a chance to, chime in and ask.
Okay, Brian. The last time Alabama A&M beat Texas Southern was February 1st, 2014.
What year is this? 26?
In Normal, Alabama. And that was a 63-62 victory.
Skin of your teeth kind of game, 1-point game.
Matter of fact, the website history only goes back to 2012, Brian. That is the only blemish on the history page since 2012, Brian.
Well, add another one to the ledger, Drew, because now the streak is at 23. The streak is 23 games after Texas A&M Texas Southern, defeated Alabama A&M 89-74 at home. When is the next meeting? Since you're probably there on the schedule, when is the next time Texas Southern and Alabama A&M play each other?
That is 28 of the last 29 times, Brian.
Oh, so it goes even deeper than that. Wow.
I'm just saying, if you go all the way back,
Yeah.
that's 28 of the last 29 times that those two teams have played.
And
the next time,
and one win was a 1-point game.
A 1-point victory. The next time these two teams may play each other would be in Atlanta in the SWAC tournament. They are not scheduled to play each other a second time this year.
Okay, man. So now I understand why that information came across my timeline. This was a get in. That, you know what? Oh, that could have been money for the. That could have been Super Bowl money right there. That could have been Super Bowl money if you had played that right. I would have made it as a basketball. I felt like there's a jab there somewhere. Well, I don't know if they're a football school, so they damn sure I guess better be a basketball school. Wow. Man. Well,
talk about streak. Steve wants to remind you of a streak. And you got to get your obligatory Winston-Salem streak in.
I have it on the list while we're talking streaks. So that was the streak. Okay, so that was the game that precipitated me going down the rabbit hole of punching up various statistics and trying to find out where we are on various streaks. So that is a single opponent streak. The rest of these are games in a row as we talk about the rest of these streaks that are happening right now. And I guess we have to mention, of course, the Winston-Salem State Lady Rams, who have won 16 consecutive games. They're the number one team in the BCSN top 5 Division II rankings.
See if they can hold that.
Yeah, see how long they hold that. New rankings coming out later in the show. They got a 50-41 win on the road at Claflin to improve to 7-0 in conference play. Now that was on Wednesday. I think I may have mentioned either their game this weekend or the game. I think there was a game that got canceled because of the weather. Because I know I thought they were supposed to play 2 this week, and if they were supposed to play Shaw, that was the game that got canceled. WSSU Ram Nation can definitely update us in the chat room about that. And yes, they have moved up to number 22 in the country.
Hey, Brian, before we go any further, let's just talk about that CIAA South on the women's side, Brian. You got Winston-Salem.
Let me pull that up.
16-1. You've got a very good Fayetteville State, who are the defending champions, at 13-2. And you've got a very strong Claflin. 9-5 overall, but 5-2 in the conference, Brian. Make it up for a very and those teams have to face each other 2 times this year.
Is everybody wait a minute? So is everybody having to play everybody twice?
On the South.
On the South?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned Fayetteville State's women. I think I have them on the list as well. The Fayetteville State women.
6 in a row.
Yeah, they have won 6 consecutive games now after defeating Livingstone 64-55. They are 13-2 overall, 7-1 in conference play. So yeah. So Steve said they play Tuesday. So the Shaw game is moved to Tuesday. Let's see. Anybody else in the CIAA got a streak worth noting on the women's side?
You got Virginia State. They're the winners of 3 in a row. They're at the top of the North. But
No.
other than that, really nothing
Yeah,
significant.
I kind of went 2 consecutive weekends or 2 weeks of winning. Nobody less than 2 weeks of winning. So, I mean, if you went 2 weeks of winning or more, I had you on the list. Now, I'm gonna jump around here, Drew, because again, I'm just looking at streaks here. So bear with me, folks, as we jump around, not necessarily talking conference per conference. But after Winston-Salem State's 16 consecutive wins, the next longest win streak in women's basketball overall belongs to the Langston Lions. The Langston Lady Lions have won 9 consecutive games, part of the Sooner Athletic Conference. On Thursday, they defeated Panhandle State. Sometimes you say that name and you're just like, that's not really their name, is it? Panhandle State.
Oklahoma Panhandle State.
Panhandle State. Thank you. 59-40. They are 11-2 in conference play, in first place, but not by much, just by a game, if I'm not mistaken. 17-2 overall, Langston's record. So
Ain't none of that stuff important. They came in as the number 1 NAIA team in the BCSN rankings. That's what's important about all that, Bryan.
There you go. There you go. That's right. Thank you. That's another number 1 team still winning. I forgot to put that on there. Number 1, Langston. All right. Well, moving on down the list of teams with nice winning streaks. After Fayetteville State with 6, how about Alabama A&M? Their women basketball team have won 6 consecutive games in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And this is all after they lost their season opener conference game against Mississippi Valley State in overtime. And since then, they've been rolling. They have been winning by an average of 21.5 a game. Again, 21.5 a game.
You know where that came from, Bryan?
What?
That opening day loss to Valley.
Yeah.
Was the wake-up call for the Lady Bulldogs.
He said if Coach Thornton wanted to get the message across that we're not gonna have that this season, she got the message across. They've even to the point, Drew, that they dominated. I can't even call it a win. They dominated another team in the SWAC that also has a 6-1 conference record, and that's Alcorn State. They beat Alcorn State by 42 points, Drew. 76-34. Alcorn State is 6-1 in conference play. That is their only loss. That's the one by 40. It's almost like you should have 2. You should probably have 2 losses. When you lose by 40, I had to look that up and make sure. Am I reading that number right? Does that say 42? Yeah, 42. Yeah. Back on January 10th.
You know what that reminds me of, Bryan? And obviously we've got another 7 weeks of conference play to see this. Damn, I did it. I did it. But we really do have 6 or 7 weeks of conference play left. But Bryan, remember, what was it, 2021, 2022, somewhere up there, where Jackson State lost to Alabama State to open up the conference season and did not lose again?
Then they won, I think it was 15 straight after that.
They won. Yeah, it was 15 to 17, and then they won 3 in the the 3 in the tournament.
Mm-hmm. That was the start of the. That was the start of the run. I don't know I don't know what kind of fancy cute name you want to give it, but the dynasty run of Tamika Reed and JSU. That's where it started. It did start. What does Edwin say? He heard that after Valley lost, Coach Thornton. Oh.
That could possibly have been the difference.
that doesn't make sense. You lost me there, Edwin.
She was sick.
Oh, so she wasn't at the Valley game.
Yeah, she was sick.
Saying.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm just curious: is Alabama A&M going to be that dominant of a team? Because that's how that Jackson State team dominated that year.
Yeah. I want to see them go through. I'm gonna hold my tongue, bite my tongue even until we get to about Valentine's Day. By Valentine's Day, I'll know whether I believe in Alabama A&M as real or fugazi. That's kind of where I'm at right now, because I think by then they would have already had to play Southern, Florida A&M, and I don't know if there's a return game against Alcorn. And I only mention that because Southern and Alcorn are both tied at 6-1 in conference play right now. So I'm kind of,
and they're on the west side.
Yeah, and so I just kind of, congratulations, Lady Bulldogs. I mean, looking good so far in all kinds of ways. Okay, with 5 wins in a row, Coach Green, shout out to the Edward Waters Lady Tigers. 5 consecutive games and 9 of the last 10. Currently in first place in the Eastern Division of the SIAC with a 12-3 record, a game and a half lead over Clark Atlanta. So shout out to Edward Waters. Edward Waters slowly moving up the rankings in the BCSN D2 women's top 5. Alcorn State, as I previously mentioned, Drew, since they lost that game to Alabama A&M, they have won 4 straight games, including sweeps in Texas and Florida. So the big bad Lady Braves getting it done. Want to encourage you guys, you can always check out some great conversations while we're talking about the Alcorn State Braves. One of the shows on the BCSN Pod Zone is Brave Talk with Charles Edmonds, and he has coaches shows. He talks to Nate Kilbert, the Nate Kilbert Show, and the Jake Morton Show. Of course, Nate Kilbert is the head coach for the women's team. Jake Morton, the coach of the men's team. Those coaches shows air live on Tuesday, 91.7 FM, Alcorn State Sports. You can find it on Facebook. But if you're a subscriber of the BCSN Pod Zone, everywhere you download and listen to podcasts, you can listen to that show. I usually get it uploaded Wednesday or Thursday at the latest. So you can always catch the show. Make sure you're subscribed. Download, rate, review. Interesting comments by Jake Morton following last Saturday's refereeing debacle. Interesting conversation listening to the show with him and Charles Edmond. That's all I'll say. I found out a little more info as well, but maybe if we have time, we'll talk about it. But the interesting conversation from him. Also in the MEAC, Norfolk State has won 4 straight since losing to Maryland Eastern Shore back on January 8th. The Lady Spartans are 5-1 in conference play, 10-11 overall. And Howard as well has been winning. They are also 5-1 in conference play, winners of 3 in a row. Both Howard and Norfolk State picking up wins and getting the streak going ever since they lost to Maryland Eastern Shore. And again, Maryland Eastern Shore have not won, or excuse me, didn't play this weekend. So, had a nice winning streak. Yes, Cleo Hill leading Maryland Eastern Shore. They're 4-0 right now.
I wonder if that's going to cost them any on the men or the women's side, them not playing this weekend in our rankings.
Well, the computer doesn't like when you don't play. So, they say the two things that can hurt you in the computer rankings are losses and not playing. And it's just a matter of which one costs you more. Because really, it's more so that the other teams around you are winning games and stacking points with the computer.
And you're just sitting idle.
And you're sitting idle. So unless you have that big of a cushion, and I don't know if either of those teams had that big of a cushion, but we'll find out. We'll find out. The BCSN top 5 rankings coming up later in the show. Let me jump over to the men's side for a second, Drew. This is one that you'll like. The longest winning streak in all of HBCU basketball, men's, belongs to who, Drew?
The Morehouse Maroon Tigers.
The Morehouse Maroon Tigers, winners of 7 straight, following an 82-64 win over Albany State on Thursday. Morehouse is in first place, a game and a half over Clark. Their next game, Drew, since you said it looks like the next game is Miles, at Miles on Thursday.
Yes. Yeah, actually, Bryan, you talk about two top matchups for Morehouse this week. That's going to be really put the win streak to the test, as we take on Miles, who's the number 2 team on the SIAC West on Thursday, followed by the number 1 team in the SIAC West on Saturday. Miles on the road, Tuskegee at home.
Right. Well, and I guess I should clarify. I thought I did, maybe I didn't. But Morehouse's streak is 7 games in conference, 7 games in their division.
The game against Howard does not count, Steve, because it was an exhibition.
Oh, it counted. It
did not count.
We saw it.
Hey, number 1, we didn't win this year, so it definitely don't count now. But seriously, it does not count. It doesn't count in the ranking standings or anything. It was an exhibition for both teams.
Okay. See.
And by the way, Steve, we were down 3 starters in that Howard game.
Oh, here we go. Just move the goalpost a little further back, or move the backboard a little further back. You're right, exactly. Now, if they had won that game, Steve,
I'd been doing like I did last year.
We would have led this show talking about Morehouse's win over Howard had they won. Just letting y'all know.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you for backing me up on that one.
Okay. All right. Same. I bet some of y'all use the same principles with wins that are vacated because of a player not passing a class or impermissible benefits or whatever. Right. It happened. We saw it. Anyway. Okay. But anyway, so Morehouse has the longest current streak at 7 games. Fayetteville State has their men have a 6-game winning streak. They have not lost in 2026. They beat Virginia Union back on January 8th. Currently 6-2, 12-6 overall but they're second in the conference right now. Their 2 conference losses came back in December as part of the December conference schedule, but they opened up 2026 with a win against Virginia Union and haven't lost since. First year at Fayetteville State head coach. Devin, is it Hohen? Is that how you say the last name? I hope I say that right. Well, anyway, he's doing a good job. And then, of course, no one should dismiss or poo-poo what's happening in Tallahassee, Florida. Florida A&M, under first-year head coach Charlie Ward, has won their 5th consecutive game in the SWAC since losing in the opener against Bethune-Cookman, at Bethune-Cookman. The Rattlers are now 5-1 in conference play, tied with Bethune-Cookman, who took Jackson State, who was also in first place going into the game, they took them behind one of those old raggedy buildings at Bethune, and they pulled out the biggest paddle that they could and beat the stripes off of those Tigers. I mean, they beat them. What was the final score? 85-48, I think it was.
They damn near doubled them up.
I had to do a double take. Somebody said, I saw somebody post, I don't know if it's in our chat or somewhere else, but somebody said, was that a payout game? Was that did Jackson State get a check for that? Because good gosh, man. We haven't seen, it's been a while, 37 points. Haven't seen a beating like that in a long time, man. I mean, Tiger, Wildcat v. Tiger violence. Yeah, true definition of BTA right there. That was, yeah. And everybody, as far as I know, people played. Ruffin, who was one of the SWAC's leading scorers, he played. He was the only guy to score double digits for Jackson State. He scored 19 of the team's 48. You know, ugh. But yeah, Florida A&M had to rally. They struggled a little bit with Alcorn State on Saturday, but they managed to pull away and get a 6-point victory. And so now Jackson State will travel across the state and take on FAMU. And now Alcorn will go to Bethune, and we'll see. We'll see if after Monday night the Rattlers and Wildcats can remain in first place. You know, Drew,
Right. Hold on, before you get to that, 5 in a row for the Rattlers. But I don't know if you was gonna go here, but I'm gonna go here on this one because it's normally you who go in here. What y'all got to say now about the 2 Florida teams coming into the SWAC in basketball now? Y'all already talked about us in the other sports that the 2 Florida teams have done. Now they come in and now they figured out basketball.
Yeah, look, you know, first it was baseball, now it's men's basketball.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what y'all, great additions to the conference, right? Great additions to the conference. They got people flustered. They're like, man, yeah,
we got to figure these Florida teams out.
Yeah, we got to figure these Florida schools out, So
you roll, Steve. But Bryan, it took 2 former NBA players coming in to get it straight.
It what now?
Took 2 former NBA players getting at the 2 Florida schools to get it straight. Reggie Theus and Charlie Ward.
Hey, look, both of them are doing well. Both of them are doing well. I mean, you're right. I don't know. Who knows if that will become the formula? I mean, look, hey, Jackson State last year with Mo Williams got to the SWAC championship game
and beat another former NBA player, beat the snot out of him.
Who? Oh,
Mo Williams.
Oh, yeah. So, it is what it is right now. So, yeah. So we'll keep going, and yes, we will speak on the one of the things that's on the show rundown. I may have mentioned it. There was an interesting survey taken by the Field of 68, which if you're a college basketball junkie, you probably are familiar with the Field of 68. They did a poll, anonymous poll with various head coaches / assistant coaches from various conferences. Well, most recently it was the SWAC, and earlier this week the CAA. And maybe you're not surprised at who coaches said was the worst job in the CAA, but maybe you are surprised by who the coaches in the Southwestern Athletics Conference said was the best job? I don't know. We'll talk about it coming up a little bit later in the show. We'll, again, I love anonymous polls. So I always wonder when you look at that, they didn't give parameters. They just said, hey, rank it however you want to rank it. And obviously we'll talk about the surroundings of it. Is it facilities, recruiting budget, all
NIL.
those things. NIL opportunities. Yeah, we'll talk about all that coming up. So stay tuned. All right, let's time to take that first break. And did I cover all the streaks? Did I miss anybody? I think we got all of them. I hit them all.
If not, we can come back and clean it up after our interview.
Yeah. And of course, don't forget, we're going to talk about a few other things. I got to figure out you guys always in the chat. You guys are keeping up. Again, it's Championship Sunday going on. So Seattle and the Rams going on probably right now or just kicking off or something like that. So I know you guys will be chatting about that in the chat room. But coming up here, we're going to talk about a lacrosse event coming to Atlanta, going to be held on the campus of Morehouse College. And so want you to hang in there with us, and we'll talk about that with a pair of men with lacrosse around Atlanta. So we'll talk with them on the other side of the break. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network. Hang tight. AD and Bryan here. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU Sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2026? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 30th to February 1st, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan Fulford and AD Drew here. And joining us on the show now, a pair of men from Lacrosse around Atlanta to tell us about a major event that's coming to the city of Atlanta on the campus of Morehouse. Welcome to the show, Tony Suber, Jason Breyo. Gentlemen, how you doing? Welcome to the SportsWrap.
We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Don't put that up there, Drew. Hey, what's up?
You just speaking. You just speaking to him.
Hey, Drew's my new best friend.
Yeah.
We're hanging out a lot.
Yeah.
So, Drew, I'm gonna give it over to you because again, this is a major event that's coming to your campus, and I'm curious. You know, I'll admit, guys, I know about that much of lacrosse as a sports head, but I grew up in the Midwest, so you know, and then I moved south. So I grew up on basketball, moved into a football state, so I've had to learn about the sport of lacrosse. But the big time event that's coming to Atlanta, Drew, tell us a little bit about the event, how the relationship formed, and I'll let you start it off from there.
Well, actually, I'm going to let the experts tell about it. But before we get into the event itself, why don't you guys kind of first of all, introduce yourselves to our audience, and then tell everybody what 285, what lacrosse around Atlanta is. So we'll start off with you, Jason.
All right. Thanks. First of all, thanks for having us, guys. As I said, AD and I are starting to become pretty fast friends. We've spent a lot of time together here, and Tony and I are part of what we think is a unique nonprofit in Georgia. And our actual name is 285 Lacrosse, and 285 is the interstate around Atlanta. So the lacrosse around Atlanta is our tagline. It amazes me how many people don't figure that 285 thing, by the way, but it's a good conversation piece. So what we want to do is we're both two gentlemen who were blessed to play the sport of lacrosse. I grew up in Western New York. Tony grew up in Pittsburgh, and I played at the University of Delaware, and Tony played at Notre Dame. Tony's a lot smarter than I am, by the way. So, so we're kind of both passionate about it. The sport has helped us a lot. You know, I grew up playing football, basketball, and lacrosse, and played everything as a kid. But lacrosse was what put me in college, and it's just a fantastic sport. And Bryan, in the Midwest at the time, probably wasn't big where you were. Geography does play a big part in what you do with lacrosse. So it's a fantastic sport, creates a number of great opportunities for both boys and girls in college. And our whole mission as a company at 285 Lacrosse, as I said, we're a nonprofit, is simply to grow the game of lacrosse in Atlanta and the state of Georgia and just create more opportunities for kids to play. Yeah. So with this opportunity to go to Morehouse, we think we can really do that. And Tony, feel free to jump in on that.
Before you jump in, Tony, I do have to let you know, Bryan is actually born in Indianapolis, Indiana, and grew up a big-time Notre Dame fan. So,
well, there you go.
Just wanted to make you feel at home.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. Exactly. A team that's won national championships, by the way, in the sport of lacrosse there, by the way.
Back to back, baby. Back to back.
There you go.
So thank you both for having us again. Thank you, Jason, for the lead in. He shared that I'm a Pittsburgh native. I'm an inner city kid. So I had an opportunity to go to a prep school in middle school and was introduced to the sport back then. Prior to that, grew up playing just about the lion's share of the major inner city sports: baseball, football, soccer, basketball, and then lacrosse was introduced, and that was all she wrote. Had a great career at Swickley Academy, and then was an All-American in high school and was recruited by a number of the major schools. And what I will say, and then we'll jump right into it, is that I've always believed that the expansion of the sport was twofold: inner city and rural America. And that was 30 years ago. Still today, the expansion of the sport opportunity is inner city and rural America. So I'm excited about the opportunity to be at Morehouse and to introduce the sport to folks like you, Bryan, who've
got very little experience with it. But I guarantee you, once you watch a full game, you'll be forever changed.
No, I got to say, I mean, there's no lie about that, because I have watched, even what little bit I know, being able to translate other sports, and by the time I pick it up, I can definitely see it and begin to follow on and be like, oh, okay, you know what? If I had more time and more, I can see myself getting into this. When I do watch it, I can see myself getting into it, because there is plenty of action in it. Now, I'm curious about the numbers in Georgia, because or in the Atlanta metro area. What are those numbers like in terms of high school, even down to middle school, in terms of schools, in terms of kids participating in the sport?
Well, with first of all, lacrosse traditional hotbeds are New York State, where I grew up, specifically Long Island, which thankfully I didn't grow up there, but and then Baltimore, and Maryland. So New York and Maryland are kind of the hotbeds. But in the past 20 years, especially, a lot of other people that are other areas have grown up as what they call non-traditional areas, but are now hotbeds. And according to Inside Lacrosse, Atlanta is the 5th largest lacrosse market in the country right now. So there's now 120 something high schools that played in the state of Georgia. Most are in Metro Atlanta, right? Obviously. But it is expanding across the state at a pretty rapid pace, like especially in Savannah area and a lot of other spots too. And, so it's expanding. As far as the estimate of the amount of youth players in Metro Atlanta, middle school and high school, is somewhere between 17 and 20,000. So between all the work. So it's a great sport. The thing is, like, if you knew me as a kid, I would maybe be Taz with the 4 words ADHD, maybe. They didn't really care about it at my age. They just kind of smacked you and told you to sit still. But like everybody grows up with baseball. Baseball just wasn't not enough action for me. It just wasn't. I'd be like, oh, look, there's a squirrel. And it just didn't work. And lacrosse just has, and I was also basketball was one of my big sports too. And there's so many similarities between lacrosse and basketball. The offense and defense are pretty much exactly the same, exactly the same. And, so and there's so much action, you're moving around all the time. The ball's moving fast, especially in the past 7 or 8 years with the shot clock installation in the NCAA. The game is so fast. It's unbelievable. And you can get a little violent with it too. I always joke, I don't like to play golf because you can't kind of hit anybody when you're playing it, it would be more fun if you could, but it's you can get a little physical in lacrosse. They've, like everything else, they've kind of taken a lot of that out, like they have in football and everything, but you can run up, you're wearing shorts, you got a helmet, which really doesn't protect anything. You got shoulder pads, elbow pads, and gloves, and a stick, and you can go up and kind of swing that stick to an extent, and just have some fun with it. It's just a lot of fun, and how fast it moves and everything. And we're hoping that we're opening a lot of new doors with our event at Morehouse this year, because we're going to bring a lot of new eyes on the sport. They're going to be like, you know what, this is really cool, and I want to play this, or my son or daughter can play this too. So, anything you want to add to that, Tom?
I go back to my original point. Having grown up in the inner city, Jason, you talk about baseball, as a sport, and we know that is a major sport here in the South. And when you look at the combination of sports, soccer and lacrosse, football and lacrosse, basketball and lacrosse, the crossover is just impeccable. And for traditional natural athletes, I don't know that there is a better sport to pick up in today's world than the game of lacrosse. Yes, I know that NIL is doing what NIL is doing. I appreciate that. As a former Division I athlete, I'm proud and happy for those guys. But at the same time, I think lacrosse offers, both from a sport perspective of physicality and a community perspective, an unparalleled experience.
So let's get into the event. And before we get into what you guys are bringing to Morehouse, let's go back to a little bit of the history of the event. This is, I believe, the third annual event that you guys are holding in Atlanta. So let's talk about the prior events before we started the conversation with Morehouse.
Yeah, you're right, AD. This is our third year. And it's kind of evolved. And I'm going to be really honest here about how we got started on this. Okay. The first idea started about 5 years ago. I'm going to be real honest. I'm not smart enough to not be honest. My youngest son played for the University of Massachusetts. He went to Beaufort High School. I live in Beaufort. And I coached at Beaufort when he was there. And then he went to the University of Massachusetts. And he was there 4 years. And I wanted one game in those 4 years what I did not have to get on a plane one weekend and go freeze. Okay? That's how it all started. Okay? So on February 10th, 2024, we hosted UMass versus Army West Point. Okay? And Army West Point's, we have them coming back this year, and it's really great program to partner with. And obviously I love UMass. My son played for him. And, so we had the game here, and it turns out we ended up having two games. We ended up having North Carolina play Mercer. The only Division I program in the state is Mercer down in Macon. And it just turned out really well. Everything went really well. And I didn't know what I was doing. We just formed a little company and did it, but we put it together, and our whole goal was to have the most professional event we could have, and put on a good show. So people we want to grow the sport. And then if we had any money left over, we were going to donate it to our partner charities. We had two partner charities at that time. And our main one was the Shootout for Soldiers Foundation, which is a lacrosse organization that uses lacrosse events to donate to veterans in need. We kind of started that with the Army thing, but it went really well. And then we got talking about it, and we just said, let's, had some partners, and we're like, let's take it up a notch a little bit. And then we reformed as a 501c3 nonprofit. And, the feedback was great. All these other college coaches heard about the event, and everybody wants to get out. Like, the lacrosse season starts in first week in February, right? It's a spring sport. Well, most of the teams are in the Northeast, right? So playing in, West Point, New York in February is not exactly a positive experience. So they're pretty eager to get down to Georgia. So we just started talking to these coaches, and we just said, let's do it. And then last year it came together. We were able to have Maryland and Notre Dame, who happen to be number 1 and number 2 in the nation. We were able to get that matchup. We played at Bobby Dodd. We had 10,000, which is at Georgia Tech. We had 10,137 people there. It was on ESPNU and the ACC network. Publicity was unbelievable, and it was just a great experience. It's been a lot of fun. We also were able to donate all of our. We raised $41,000 for the Pediatric Cancer Research Foundation, and we also donated $30,000 to our 3 charities. So we're a complete. As I said, we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and our only goal is to grow the game of lacrosse and donate what's left over to our partner charities. So it just, the message is kind of taken off pretty well with people locally and nationally, and it just seems it's a pretty cool thing we're doing. It's a lot of fun, and also I get to avoid my real job when I do it, so I like that too. But it's just been a lot of fun, and it's taken off, and literally, like, coaches are calling us for having us next year already, so we're pretty excited about it.
Now, and this is their website, 285lacrosse.com. You kind of see some of the information about them as an organization, and you see some of the matchups that we have. But Tony, while I kind of let this scroll through for everybody, talk about we're HBCU Sports Show, so talk about African Americans in the sport of lacrosse.
Why don't you answer that, Tom?
Yeah, it's impossible to begin any conversation around our place as a community in this sport, without first mentioning the name, Jason?
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
I
Jim Brown.
know that one. You did know that one, Brian, right?
I did. I remember
Okay,
that.
just want to make sure. Just want to make
So,
sure.
so when you think about what Jim Brown means, take away the sport, right? Take away football, take away lacrosse. Jim Brown, the activist, the OG Jim Brown. Look, the game of lacrosse probably doesn't even enter your mind, but yet he was probably the best or second best in the sport's history.
Mm-hmm.
So good that the rules had to be changed because he was so good, right? To equalize the sport so that others could compete. And so when you look at that, look at the sport through that lens, it's a whole different ballgame. The other piece that I would add is going even beyond Jim Brown is, this sport is our country's native sport.
Mm-hmm.
Lacrosse is the sport of Native Americans. That's where we get the sport from. Yes, it was adopted by settlers and changed into the game that we know today. But I'd never like to be in a conversation like this without giving homage to our Native American brothers and sisters. It is the sport that they gave to us. We then took it, and it is, what it is today. But then you go, a little beyond the Jim Brown era, and it's not where we want it to be or need it to be. But folks like Jason and others, myself, are fighting to expand the sport. You'll see programs in Chicago, inner city. You'll see programs in Baltimore. Harlem's got an amazing program where they're concentrating on bringing kids who look like us into the sport. So it is growing. You will see significant uptick in the number of kids who are playing on these Division I teams. Decade prior and even going into the foreseeable future. In terms of the HBCU community, I think that, again, lacrosse is an expansion sport opportunity for the entire HBCU community. We are out there. We are playing the sport. We do want to continue to play into our college years. And I think this is truly an opportunity. And I think 285 Lacrosse and our community and others that are out there are looking for ways to expand the sport, specifically into our community.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who don't know, your higher GPA students, if for schools that have a lacrosse program, no matter African American or non-African American, tend to play lacrosse. So just throwing that out there from an academic perspective. And
I would also add, AD, that we do very well as graduates too. The lacrosse community does very, very well after college. I'll add that.
So one of the, you mentioned NIL was mentioned earlier by Tony. And by the way, there is NIL in lacrosse. Believe it, what guys now are getting to transfer. Kids are getting like $50,000 to transfer to schools in lacrosse. I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah.
But
not bad for a non-real sport.
Yep, exactly. And but the beautiful thing about lacrosse is all the players in lacrosse know they're not. I mean, there are 2 pro leagues, but you're not going to make a whole lot of money, right?
Right.
But they know they have to get a job. So in the culture of lacrosse, like my youngest son could have played college football too. He had an ACL, which kind of made that decision for him, but he would have had a tough decision. But I'm really glad he went the lacrosse route because the culture in lacrosse is to get a good job. When you go to college, it's to get good grades and get a good job. Like if you look at the academic progress rate at most college schools, and lacrosse is always their number 1 sport, almost always. And, I know that's the case in a lot of them, but, there's just a culture of, that helps each other out about being successful in the work world as well, and like Tony's school, Notre Dame, takes a trip every year. They take the whole team to Wall Street to meet Notre Dame lacrosse graduates on Wall Street. Right. And a lot of schools do that, so, it's just, that's one thing I love about lacrosse culture. So when the other beautiful thing about lacrosse is, you know, I was a 6'4" inside power forward in basketball. As we know, I thought I'd be playing with Derek Coleman at Syracuse. Didn't work out. You know, but you know, I had some Division III basketball opportunities, which were great. But at the same time, you know, lacrosse kind of opened. I was heavily recruited in lacrosse, and it gave me a lot of options. I was from a small town. I grew up with not a whole lot of money, you know, and it brought me to a great university and gave me these opportunities. And that's kind of what Tony and I and our whole organization want to do, is just kind of create these same opportunities, because all these kids in Atlanta, everyone's not going to play for Georgia in football. Okay. You have to be at all I think the average size of lineman right now is like 6'7", 6'8", 310, 320. It's ridiculous, you know. And then at basketball, you got to be genetically gifted to be 6'8" or 6'10". I mean, guards are 6'7", 6'8". So that rules a lot of people out, right? But the beautiful thing about lacrosse is you can be 5'5" or 6'5". As long as you're an athlete, you can run, you have good hand-eye coordination, and you're quick, you're going to be playing lacrosse. There's different positions for different sizes of people.
Everything.
And it's really amazing. Like, there's just so much opportunity out there, right? And then, you know, the game is growing immensely, especially, you know, we're having women's games this year too for the first time. And, you know, by the way, I just learned about a month ago that Spelman has a new club team. Spelman's starting a club team, which is fantastic. But, you know, the opportunity on the women's side due to Title IX are just amazing, you know, and the opportunities for girls to play as well it's put a lot of girls from Atlanta are playing in college as well. But, you know, it's just a major area where we feel that we can give back from our past experience and just create opportunities for kids going forward.
Let me add this, AD. I don't know what the trigger is that's going to convince the HBCU community in mass to adopt a sport. I do know that the more of us who are in the sport, the more I would say young kids who are going to maybe city schools or prep schools who want to open up a club at their respective HBCU, all that together as a cumulative is going to push forward the sport. And maybe there's a trigger point, right? There's an inflection point somewhere where the sport will begin to be more widely accepted and then implemented. But the groundwork has been laid. I'm looking forward to acceptance and more expansion one day.
Before we talk about the event coming to Morehouse, you kind of hit on a point, and this question comes out of our chat. You think lacrosse could be just as interesting of an expansion sport for HBCUs as flag football if the opportunities were there to develop it at the little league / high school level?
Without a doubt.
About it.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think flag has been an awesome opportunity, not just for the young men, but especially for the young women. And I'm looking forward to, we've got a close family friend that was recruited. She was recruited to play flag, and I had never even heard of a flag recruiting process. But
flag football is huge.
It's huge now.
Before I came to Morehouse, I worked at an institution that was a big flag football was our winningest program on their campus.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So yes, I think that that gentleman that made that comment is right. Those are the two, I think, great expansion opportunities. If we could just lean in and maybe even help. And that's why we're here too. We want to make sure that we help and support those expansion opportunities.
Yeah. All right. So you gonna say something?
Go ahead, Drew. No. Go ahead. I was just gonna. I did pull up a list because, you know, earlier we were talking about the men and women lacrosse programs that offer scholarships on the HBCU level. And I did come across a listing of some of the club programs because I just heard Tony mention the club program level, or Jason might have just mentioned about Spelman. And that brought up some other club programs that I saw. And I didn't even know this,
has
but
a club program.
Morehouse at Florida A&M has a club program.
Yes.
You know that.
I did.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, because we played them last year.
There you go. Maryland Eastern Shore, Norfolk State, Morgan State, Lincoln University. I'm assuming that's Lincoln, PA. Compton State, and Bowie State.
And our 6 programs that have actual NCAA lacrosse. On the Division I level, you have Hampton. On the Division II level, you have Virginia State and District of Columbia, University of District of Columbia. And on the women's side, on the Division I level, we have Delaware State and Howard, along with UDC on the Division II level. So 6 institutions on the in NCAA, 3 men, 3 women. But we could sit here and chat all day, but we're getting along. So we haven't even gotten to the event that's coming to Morehouse, coming up in just under 4 weeks. It was 4 weeks yesterday. And the reason I know that because I have a timeline of things that I have to do to make sure that you guys are straight as you come over.
He gets more phone calls from me every day.
If it's not a phone call, it's a text. But guys, kind of get into the event at Morehouse, and then I can kind of fill in the holes as far as some of the things on campus.
Great, thank you very much. Well, first of all, we're really excited at Morehouse. You know, when we were looking at a place, you know, we were Georgia Tech last year. We were planning on going back. There was an AD change, and it just didn't fit this year, right? And we were looking around for another venue, and I've always had Morehouse in the back of my mind because, you know, we're about growing the sport of lacrosse, right? So we want to go somewhere we can do that. And first of all, BT Harvey Stadium is a great facility for us. It's a perfect size. The whole thing's great. It's going to be awesome. By the way, when I first talked to AD, he goes, "Hey, I got a question for you. Do they like to tailgate in lacrosse? Because we got a great tailgate area." And I started laughing because I think some people are starting to tailgate maybe next week there, but tailgating's pretty big, you know, and that little berm over BT Hardy Stadium is going to be quite active. But you know, it's just it's as far as our mission is to grow the game of lacrosse, and in Atlanta, lacrosse is pretty big, but there is a divide, right? And there are a lot of, you know, African American schools that play it. Southwest DeKalb, Mays, all these schools have programs, but they're a little underfunded and they don't have the coaching, right? Okay, because even in, you know, the lacrosse coaching in a non-traditional area is hard to come by at any school, really. You usually have to find someone who played and moved down here and everything. But the coaching is really imperative at a school of whether a school is going to have a good program or not, right? So there are a number of predominantly African American schools in Atlanta who have it, and we want to work. Our next step is to help those schools as well and grow the game. But what we really want to do is have a great day of lacrosse by showing lacrosse at the highest level, and maybe help Morehouse maybe start a program down the line, right, Mr. Drew?
It's been in the discussions.
Yeah. So how we're going to do that? We're going to have a great day of lacrosse, right? So we're going to have our first game at 12 is Army West Point, okay, versus the University of Michigan. Now, Army's ranked number 15 right now, and Michigan is 20 going into the preseason. These are two. Obviously, Michigan's a Big Ten team. They'll have a big following and a big name. Army West Point is a great program historically. I think they've only lost 5 games in the past 5 years, I think, and but they've just gotten snake bit when it comes to the NCAA tournament. But they have a really big following, and we're going to fill that out. And then, so we're really excited about that game. And then that's going to start off at noon, and we're working on some special military events for that as well. We're really hoping that all the boys in Atlanta want to come and check that game out, and you know, just get a chance to see a really cool sport and say, I want to play that. And then we have 2 women's games after that. And these are our first games. Now, Boston College and Michigan are both top 5 teams right now. Okay. Boston College has played in the last 3 national championships in the women's game. And that's going to be a huge game. Okay. And then, so we're real excited about that. We made the 2 women's games back to back so we can have all the girls in town who want to come catch 2 great games. And then after that, we have Florida State in their inaugural year. This is Florida State's first year as a program, and they're playing Army West Point as well. But I was looking yesterday on Inside Lacrosse's player rankings, and I think we have 7 or 8 of the girls who are top 50 in the country right now playing in our event, right? So it's kind of going to seem like 2 events a little bit, because we're going to have the men's game first, which is going to be obviously a little more well attended, but the 2 women's games are going to be great. So our whole goal is to just we create a festival atmosphere. We're going to have all our vendors and partners out in front of the stadium, you know, doing their thing. And then we're going to have great tailgating. We're going to have a lot of fun. By the way, we got a great DJ. I booked Bubby Love from V103, who's going to be we're going to be playing music and having a great time. We're going to make it a really big festival. And our whole goal is just to bring a lot of new people to check the sport out, so we can grow the game and continue to do it next year. But I'm kind of honored to be able to do it at Morehouse. You know, our whole goal is this, you know, to grow lacrosse in Atlanta and the state of Georgia, but you can't really talk about the history of Atlanta without the history of Morehouse, without Morehouse in it, you know, and Morehouse is just such a great place and done so many great things. And, you know, the national media, lacrosse media, has actually really taken notice of this. As a matter of fact, USA Lacrosse, the governing body of the sport, called me last week and said they're going to bring about 8 to 10 people down. The CEO of USA Lacrosse is coming, because growth of lacrosse in HBCUs is a major thing they want to help with, right? So we may or may not be setting up a meeting with Mr. Ellis and Mr. Drew with Mark Riccio, the CEO of USA Lacrosse, to see what we can do to help Morehouse start a program. But you know, may happen, may not. But nonetheless, it's going to be a fun day, and all 3 games are going to be streamed on ESPN Plus. You know, and it's just going to be a great day. We're going to showcase everything we can about Morehouse and all the great things that Morehouse has done and still doing, and we're going to have a great day. So, sorry that was a little long-winded.
Anything you want to add to that, Tony?
The only thing that I would add is whatever in terms of the viewers or those who will watch this at some point or even hear about it, what you think about, you know, about the game of lacrosse, I would tell you, come and experience it for yourself. When Jason threw out that we're going to have a DJ at our game, for a lot of people, they're thinking, whoa, that's kind of interesting. Well, for us, it's normal. A lot of the things that we take for normal are not known to the outside world in terms of lacrosse. So I would say come experience it. Yes, we tailgate hard. We have a great time, and the sport is amazing just to watch from the stands.
Nice. I wanted to ask a question, and this is my last question, and it had to do with the growth. I'm down in Florida. I live in Orlando, and I have noticed, of course, the high school. I coach and teach at the high school level. I've watched lacrosse become a sport along with flag football, a spring sport, and it's gotten very popular. I'm trying to think, how did lacrosse, or what do you think was the major event, or what was the light bulb moment that allowed lacrosse to expand outside of the Northeast, outside of, I guess, from Virginia north? You know, what was it that, you know, said folks down south in Atlanta and in Georgia and Florida, hey, let's be a part of this lacrosse community? What event happened that led to that growth that we've seen now?
Well, Bryan, my father-in-law calls this the Great Yankee Migration.
Yes.
Okay. So what happened was people like me have gone to other parts of the country to work and whatever, because I moved here the 2 weeks after I moved to the University of Delaware, and we are all such passionate people about our sport. It's almost your job in this sport. You're raised to spread the game. I was a high school coach for 9 years. I coached at Lambert and Buford, and while having a real job, right? But there was probably 30 guys like me in Atlanta who did it as well, right? And that's happened all over the country because, you know, lacrosse players we're really proud of the sport, and it just meant that we kind of spread it. We're like doing it's like spreading the gospel, you know, on a smaller level. It's just what we do. It's like, you know, when my oldest son Harrison, who's now in the Marine Corps, when he was 5, I was like, okay, what do we got to do to get him to play lacrosse? Do I have to move to Maryland? But then I remembered my wife, who's from the South, refused to move, told me I couldn't move her to Maryland. and we couldn't do it. So what we got to do? We got to start youth leagues. We got to develop it and grow. And it's just so much fun to play. It's pretty easy to attract kids to it, and it's just a lot of fun. And there's never been any young, I don't have daughters, so I'm not involved in girls lacrosse, but there's never been any kid I've ever met as a kid who said, that's not cool, I want to play it. Never heard of it.
Yep.
And it's just so much fun. But really, as I said, it's people like me who grew up in the Northeast just going elsewhere. And if you look around the country, Atlanta's huge. Orlando and Tampa are really big in lacrosse. Dallas.
What about Texas? Yeah, I was
Texas.
Dallas.
Texas too.
Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth area, and now into Houston. Funny like San Diego and San Francisco and Denver and Phoenix. But a lot of the growth in Denver has been because of the University of Denver program. They've taken it. They're a perennial Final Four contender, and they've taken, so the amount of people playing in Colorado is great. But unfortunately, the thing that limits the growth of the sport is Title IX, which is nothing against Title IX, but it's just very hard to add men's sports, right? So like on the women's side, the growth has been in college has been, there's like 174, I think, Division I programs, and that's might be off a little bit, but there's only 74 men's programs, so that has somewhat slowed the growth in college a little bit. But as far as high school, it's just grown exponentially, and it's really an amazing story. But it's because it's such a great opportunity for kids. So.
And lacrosse is an Olympic sport in 2028, if I read that correctly, right?
Yes, it is. Yep, we're in the Olympics.
The first year, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
That's when it's really going to blow up. That's when it's really going to just right there. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad for Drew and Morehouse. Give Drew more work. Yeah, that's what he needs. I mean, he only has men's sports, so it's not like he's working hard anyway. Give Drew one more job, one more thing that he can do.
I will say this: I have been to Morehouse a lot lately. I've gone to a couple of basketball games, and he works hard and he works a lot because I can't find him half the time because I'm trying to. But he works really hard, and I've learned that Morehouse is a really great place. And I think we got Tuskegee on Saturday for the basketball game.
Yes,
I'm coming to that.
Notice I got him saying we already.
Yeah.
I just caught that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Hey, I've been around there enough. People are like, "Who's that?" Oh yeah, that's
which we, because Jason, he's a Tuskegee alum as well. So which we are we talking about?
I'm talking about the we where my paycheck come from right now.
Paycheck, it's Morehouse.
Hey, there you go. Now you're officially adopted. There you go.
Yep. So I'm going to be at the game on Saturday, and it'll be awesome. I was at the Savannah State game, and that was hilarious. It was. I went to Central State in December, and I went to Savannah State a couple weeks ago. And unfortunately, there were a few more Savannah State folks in the crowd than Morehouse folks. But hopefully, we rectify that this week. But it was a lot of fun. I tell you what, it was a lot of fun, that game. I was sitting right between the Savannah State fans and the Morehouse fans, and I heard some good stuff. It was good.
God bless you, Jason. God bless you. I sat through one of those Clark and Morehouse games, and so enjoy.
I'm starting to realize they don't really like each other that much.
A little bit.
Those rivalries go back decades, like way before anybody on this screen was born. Right. So that's how you're involved with something good right there.
Yep.
All right. Any last words, Tony?
Hey, thank you guys again for having us. We are blessed to have Morehouse welcome us. That was not something that was a foregone conclusion, as you know, AD. We had to work through some things to make that a reality, and we are so blessed to be able to grow the sport and have Morehouse help host it for us. So those are my last words. It's just truly a blessing. Thank you, guys.
Yep, and we're excited. As I said, less than a month. Tickets are for sale on our website, 285lacrosse.com. It's one ticket for all three games. You'll be able to go in and out. We are going to have, though, an Atlanta University Center discounted ticket for anyone associated with the Atlanta University Center at all four schools. So we'd love to have as many people as we could. Come on, check it out. It's going to be a fun day.
There it is. And so now when I'm ready to go check a Notre Dame lacrosse game, I know who to contact. I'm going to contact Tony, and I'm like, Tony, you got to, I'm just going to tag along and just be just experience it all.
I got you,
you
Bryan.
know, where it is. There it is. February 21st, 2026, BT Harvey Stadium. 3 exciting lacrosse games being held right there. Make sure to check out again. Give the website again where people can purchase tickets and get more information.
285lacrosse.com. 285 lacrosse LACROSSE.com.
Beautiful, nice and easy. 285lacrosse.com. Wonderful. All right. Jason and Tony, we appreciate you coming on the show and sharing the experience and the opportunity. And we I know Drew will keep us updated with updates on the planning process over the next 4 weeks as we get closer to kickoff.
And I just dropped a link in the chat for anybody who's interested.
Thanks for having us.
Good stuff.
Thank you so much.
All right.
We appreciate
you guys.
Appreciate you guys. All right. Let's take our next break, come back on the other side. Top 5 rankings coming up soon. You're watching a BCSN Sports Wrap right here on the Black College Sports Network.
This is Bryan Fulford. AD Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
From cancer care to accidental injuries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life. But with Globe Life Family Heritage, you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com. With over 25 years of serving communities, Dr. Beverly Eagles Rogers is here to help you and your family through difficult times. Dr. Beverly takes pride in Globe Life being one of the few companies that returns 100% of premiums to clients that stay healthy. So for more information, call Dr. Beverly Eagle Rogers at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at globelifefamilyheritage.com.
To these colleges, and we have to fund our kids in these colleges, and we have to make sure our kids have seats in these colleges.
Now, what about HBCUs? You mentioned
absolutely. You got to fund them all, and you've got to make sure they're properly funded. You know, the real reason why I went after Comcast and Charter, it didn't have anything to do with my cable networks. It didn't. What happened was a gentleman wanted to do the Black College Sports Network in partnership with the HBCUs. And Comcast did not accept it. And that would have made a lot of money for these black colleges.
Absolutely.
And it would have educated the Black College Sports Network. This is what he wanted to do. That would have educated a lot of black kids. And when they didn't do that, that's when I came off the bench and said, okay, I'm going to light you up like a Christmas tree. Okay. That was the real reason why I got into it, was when I saw what happened with the Black College Sports Network, which I don't own. I just knew.
Why didn't you buy it?
I just knew. I just knew that these black.
I like that talk.
All right. I knew that these black colleges were going to benefit, and these black kids were going to get the education that they deserved and not have to pay.
There's a shot. Right. It could be. Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. HBCU Image, a Kenny T's company.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. AD Bryan here.
That was off the beaten path, Bryan.
It was good though. I loved it. That was a very cool educational segment, and like I said, it gave me an opportunity. I think I got rid of my info sheet that I had. I had an info sheet pulled up where I was talking about when I was mentioning schools. So the first thing that kind of came to mind is the schools, HBCUs that have lacrosse programs. We kind of talked about it earlier. On the men's side, you have Hampton, Division I, Virginia State, Division II, University of District of Columbia, UDC, is also Division II. Hampton is a Division I program with an allotted 12.6 scholarships, and at the D2 level, 10.8 scholarships. That's per team. Now, I don't know if those numbers changed or grew.
I don't think they're spending at that level, though.
Okay. Now, on the women's side, Howard University, Division I program, Delaware State, Division I program, UDC, a Division II program, along with Virginia State. So Virginia State has a men and women's. So I think we were talking about who has both UDC and Virginia State having both men and women's programs. Now, at the club level, now these are non-scholarships. At the club level, you have Bowie State, Coppin State, Lincoln University, that's PA, Lincoln, PA, Morgan State, Norfolk State, University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Florida A&M, Morehouse, Spelman.
Look, I'm not messing with you on that one right there.
What?
How do you get 0.6 of a player? Red shirt for half a season?
I guess.
No,
that's how that happens.
But it's good. Here's the thing: if this thing is going to grow, especially amongst HBCUs, just my personal opinion, it's the real growth will be coming if one of our conferences would add it on as a conference sport. On the Division II level, we talk CIAA or SIAC. Obviously, BAC and SWAC on the Division I level. But I think if there was a way that the schools would, obviously with some funding, and let's go back to 2021, Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when the SIAC added men's volleyball as a conference?
Yes.
Got some startup funding, and 6 institutions came on with men's volleyball.
Is it still going on, Drew?
It is still going on. Morehouse has dropped volleyball, but another institution has added LeBron on. So you're still at 6 institutions in the SIAC. It's just.
And what year is it?
Year 5. We'll be starting year 5 this season, this spring.
Okay. And where I was going to go to
and
is
let me say this. The seed money was only good for 3 years.
Okay. Well, but I was going to get to is saying if you can make it to year 5, you can keep going, because I think your seed money only gave you 3 years, and if you make it to year 5, I think that's where the commitment has sort of kicked in and you've realized the value. But I mean, no shade on Morehouse. For whatever reason, Morehouse dropped it, and thankfully somebody picked it up.
Yeah.
The question is, can you get in a conference of 14 members?
15.
Even more. Can you get 2 more schools to pick at 8? Because I think, can you get to 8? I think that's the magic number. First off, you survive for 5 years. Can you get to 8? Can you get to 8 schools that want to sustain it? Now, you were asking about a conference. Well, here's the thing. looking at that list of not only club, but
current,
club and current, which two conferences just stick out like a sore thumb as being the most likely to, even if you built, like you said, a 6-man conference, which programs look like they can last? MEAC and CIAA. I mean, if you think about it, from a D1, D2 level.
And the sport is in their natural footprint also.
Yeah. Or, I mean, look, what if, obviously you have Florida A&M as a SWAC school, but let's just say, what if you just had the D1, obviously you have D1s where you have Howard, Delaware State, Morgan, Norfolk, Maryland Eastern Shore, Florida A&M. Can you all be independent, play each other? I mean, obviously, I don't know. It's just I agree with what you're saying. Florida A&M is the only outsider non-MEAC school amongst that group, and then at the D2 level,
used to be like that.
I know, but D2 level, you have UDC being the outlier
to the CIAA.
Spelman, right?
Yeah.
So,
and Spelman doesn't offer sports on any level. Collegiate sports. So let's just throw them out.
Yeah.
Morehouse becomes the outlier along with UDC.
Well, it's fascinating because I know, it gets into the debate. I know we've talked about, the growth of soccer. The SWAC sponsors soccer. Now you're seeing a conference sponsoring flag football, in the CIAA sponsoring flag football. You've seen the SIAC sponsor men's volleyball.
Yeah. Let me answer this one before we move off of this. When it comes to expenses, which sport does it more compare with? Probably from a budget. Once you get through the initial startup, Edwin, that's always going to be the key with the equipment, the goals, and everything else you need to compete on that level. From a revenue side, Bryan, you tend to have about 40 man or so roster, Bryan, for lacrosse. So especially for institutions who are challenged with getting their enrollment numbers, lacrosse is a good way to add male students to your campus. And when you consider the ratio of our male to female at some of our campuses, this may be another way to add and try to balance that out. Because we all know what it was when we was in school, Bryan. Whoo, 14 to 1. 14 to 1. But this is way, and like baseball, lacrosse students actually pay most of the time. So you're not talking about a whole lot of scholarships. Yeah, that 8 or 9 or 10 scholarships, those get divided up, like baseball has traditionally been done, or softball has traditionally been done. Budget wise, that's one of the things that I'm actually learning about in this process, Edwin. What type of budget would it take for a Division II institution to do it? What type of budget does it take for a Division I institution to do it? Those are some of the things that I am learning as I'm going through this process. But I'm gonna say this: any new sport on the Division II level, if you're not budgeting at least $500,000 towards that sport to cover things such as travel and everything else, $500,000 to $1 million, you wasting your time.
How do you get people, maybe a bigger question I think that also you have to figure out is, how are schools going to get fans supporters to support, not because they know the sport, but because that's their school. See, I think we're coming to a point where athletic administrations are going to have to really start doing some research, start asking the questions of their alumni. And really, I don't know if it's better promoting, a different kind of promoting, but at what point are you going to support because it's your school? I mean, I just want you to stop and think about that. And I hate to do the comparison of them, non-HBCUs, and us, but we seem to do a lot of supporting during one particular season. And then that support of just our school and our teams drops by 50% after that season ends.
Let me tell you why this has a chance, Brian. What's the thing that benefits football? Once a week, primarily on the weekends.
Right. Okay.
What's something that it has in common with lacrosse? Once or twice a week. Once or twice a week, primarily on weekends. The tailgate atmosphere. You heard them say they tailgate all the time.
Yeah.
We just wasn't invited to the cookout.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you bring that tailgating atmosphere into it. And for us, if we can incorporate some of the things that we traditionally do that we love about a football game, the band, the cheerleaders, the dancing girls and stuff like that, if we could add our own flavor to it, and we get to do it in March, in April, when the weather is a hell of a lot better than it is in October and November, when we try to have homecoming, we got a chance, Brian. Now, you do got to get through February, but after that, we got a chance.
There it is. We got to invest in marketing, but man, there's so many ways to market, even non-traditionally. I don't know. That's a definite. Listen, a lot of kids today don't support most of their school anymore. That's a great point, Edwin. That's a great point. And how do we get that back? How do we get that back?
Brian, they have so many more choices now than we did. When you was in Gibbs Hall or wherever we were staying at Tallahassee, you know, what else did we really have to do on a Tuesday night, Brian, besides go to the basketball game?
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
I hear that. I hear that, but then I see places on a weekday. I mean, Ram Nation will tell you those kids show up to WSSU games in the middle of the week. I've seen the video of that place on a weekday.
Here's something else, Brian, and this is a serious one. What type of institution are we talking about? Are we talking about a rural institution where there's not a whole lot to do but campus life? Or are we talking about an urban institution where there's always options? You get into a city like Atlanta, even a smaller city like a Tallahassee, Birmingham, Houston, Montgomery, DC, Baltimore. There's other things that draw these kids away. A lot of these kids, I won't say a lot, but you have a fair share of commuters at these institutions. But go to a Tuskegee, go to an Alcorn State, go to some of our other institutions, Grambling State, places like that,
But Drew,
where it's pretty much when mama drop you off on campus, you stuck till November.
But Drew, going to college cannot just be about being in your dorm, being on your phone, or whatever it is that we're using as it. I mean, I don't know. I'm not on now. Look, I've been years away. I'm removed. I know maybe I'm just old man over here talking, but I can't believe I can't wrap my mind around the college experience.
You know what? You know why, Bryan?
About not going to events that your school has.
You know why, Bryan?
I can't understand that. I can't.
I'm supposed to give you some and why these kids in 2025 and 2026 don't show up, and they're not going to show up for the next few years. Because these kids spent the whole year at home, Bryan, learning how to play by themselves due to COVID.
Oh, here we go. Are we really going to relate
yes.
to COVID? You really think that's
yes. That's why you see it go down, because they had to adapt and learn how to do stuff virtually.
I know exactly. Look, I'm applying to what I got to do to get my thesis. I have a master's. I get my master's degree. I got to do a thesis. Is that it for my master's program? Is that what it is?
Yes.
I just figured out what I'm going to do my thesis on. I don't care if anybody hears this and says, "Oh, that's a great idea." I'm doing my thesis on the effects of COVID on college students' willingness to participate and be a part of a socially active campus community.
They missed some of those important social years.
That is the thesis. I'm doing my thesis on that because I don't believe I'm gonna have to try to. I don't believe
Bryan,
that.
If you were think about this, if you were in 8th grade,
I understand
during COVID,
I understand.
you are currently a college sophomore.
Freshman, because I have 6th graders who are juniors who were in COVID. When COVID happened, they were 6th graders. They're juniors now. So they would have been, if you were in 8th grade, you were a freshman in college.
Yes, freshman. So, you're right. I'm off a year.
Yeah. All right. Edwin, you stop it. He's not lying. Let's talk about some coaches. Let's talk about basketball coaches. I got a couple different things I want to get into. An interesting debate that I saw. I mentioned this. This was probably one of the HBCU Goes specials mid-game thing they did. It involved Liv for Hoops, our good friend Liv Antilla. They were debating the performance of first-year head coaches. And, the debate from the video clip I saw centered around Charlie Ward at Florida A&M and Nolan Smith at Tennessee State. So it got me to thinking, okay, first-year head coaches, who's doing the best job so far this year? But then I had to go a step further. First-year head coaches at their new school, who's doing a great job? So we got 2 categories here, right? And this is regardless of men and women, but most of these coach men's sports, not all of them. So let's start with first-year head coaches, Drew. All right?
First-time head coaches.
First-time head coaches. So we got 3 coaches that are making waves, making big names, big noise right now.
Bryan, I can't even get into this debate.
Well, no, but here's where I want you to go. I want you to present.
Two-thirds of these people on this screen, I have a tie to.
All right. So we've got Charlie Ward, first year, Florida A&M University. Charlie and the Rattlers right now. First place, tied for first place, 5-1 in conference, 8-9 overall record. Okay. Of course, he coached previously. Of course, we know his background, Heisman Trophy winner, NBA first-round draft pick, several years with the Knicks, coached high school ball right in Tallahassee, won a state championship in the state of Florida. Okay. Now, Nolan Smith, former Duke player. I believe he was an assistant coach at Memphis for a minute with Penny Hardaway. Came over this year to Tennessee State University. And in his first year, Tennessee State is currently 13-7 overall, 7-3 in second place, just a half a game out of first place. Okay. Then Drew's coach, Larry Dixon, I'd say almost about 15 to 20 years as an assistant coach. Prior to that, he was a high school head coach. I think he won a state championship, if I read the bio correctly, at the high school level. But he was a lifer in the assistant coaching. Where was he prior to Morehouse?
North Carolina State, and he was the associate head coach on that North Carolina State team that went to the Final Four 2 years ago.
Okay. So they brought in a new coach going into this year, and it kind of worked out where Dixon came over to Morehouse, taking over in May. Currently, Morehouse is sitting, we mentioned it earlier in the show, 11-3 in division, first place, having a great season. Who's having the better? Now, I know I'm not going to ask Drew, but asking you guys in the chat, who's having the better mid-season? Midway point of the season, the year. Who's doing a better job?
So we got first place, second place, first place, as far as the current
half
standing.
a game. Nolan Smith, half a game out of first place. Charlie Ward tied for first place. Larry Dixon currently 2 games or game and a half up in first. Okay, so maybe how can we look at this, Drew? Let's talk about what these guys had to work with coming into the year, right? All right. Give the Larry Dixon perspective while I look up the Tennessee State perspective. I mean, we can both talk about Charlie Ward, but give people the Larry Dixon background on what he had to work with coming into this year and the challenges maybe that he had to deal with.
Probably took the job the latest out of these 3 people on the screen right here, taking the job the week before Memorial Day. Lost 5 seniors due to matriculation. Then having a first teamer who hit the transfer portal and transferred to Howard. So you're starting off 6 down right there with his particular teams. And the amazing thing about this first place run, this is a team that has been hit by the injury bug. So has not count the number of times where the same lineup has gone out on the floor multiple games in a row. And those lineup changes are not due to performance, Bryan. Those are due to injuries. And you know, I'll joke when I say about Howard, but legitimately, Morehouse was minus 3 starters in the Howard game. They have been down 2 to 3 rotation players, and when I say rotation players, top 8 players for a majority of the season, due to one reason or another. So that's the Larry Dixon story.
All right. Nolan Smith took over for Bryan. I think it's Bryan Penny Collins was the previous coach. Tennessee State's program the last couple of seasons were pretty good. They were about a 500 program. Of course, they play in the OVC. And just kind of looking back at where they were last season. Overall, they were 17-16, 12-8 in conference play. Season came to an end. They were the 3rd seed in the Ohio Valley Conference. Season ended in the semifinals last year, right? Of course, these are one bid leagues. All of these, one bid league. The year before, Tennessee State was 18-15, 10-8 in conference play. And they were again the 3rd seed. And that year, they lost in the quarterfinals. So Nolan Smith didn't walk into a program that was bare. In terms of RPI of conference, I know Doc had said that the SWAC was a deeper conference, but I would say from an RPI level, I think the Ohio Valley Conference was a better RPI conference than the SWAC. So that's the background on what Nolan Smith has kind of walked into. Now, again, Nolan Smith from Duke. I don't know if any other assistants.
Kenny Blakely.
Definitely. Kenny Blakely at Howard.
Yeah.
He's the first one that comes to mind.
Yes.
Capel never went to the HBCU level, although I think wasn't his dad a coach at North Carolina A&T for a minute?
I believe so.
Yeah. If not the head coach and assistant coach, I want to say the head coach. So there's that. And then, of course, for Charlie Ward, last year was sort of a first year in a long time that FAMU finished above 500 in men's basketball, 10-8. But that was a first-year coach who, left. They did have a player of the year last year, left. So, I don't know. Drew, it's funny you mentioned, you talked about what Dixon lost. I don't have all of the background on who was previously on Tennessee State squad and who is back or who left. You know what I'm saying? We do know about Charlie Ward, though. Hasn't
lost
been
2
above
players
one.
in conference.
What's that?
Let's say, FAMU lost 2 players in conference?
What do you mean?
Transfers.
Well,
2 players to Grambling.
Well, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, shoot. I mean, I'm trying to remember at the beginning of the year. I think Ward said he had 5 or 6 returners that were previously on the roster. 2 of them actually are guys who 2 of his main 8 or 9 are guys that were there from previous year. But 6 or almost did it again. A good 7 of the guys, 6 or so guys are from. I don't know. This is a good one. I'm just curious to see who do you guys give the edge to? Charlie Ward, Nolan Smith, Larry Dixon. Somebody else said Smith.
Yeah, Smith in the chats.
Yeah,
no love
Ward,
for the D2
Smith.
coaches. So I understand, y'all.
Well, here's the thing, though. Of all 3 coaches, who has the best chance of making a run or getting an opportunity to get into the NCAA tournament? It's probably Larry Dixon.
Have you seen the SIAC? I mean, let's be real. I like our chances, but
well, I was going to go at large. You don't think there's opportunity for an at large bid out of the SIAC?
For Morehouse this year, no. Considering what our non-conference record was, there might be an at large opportunity for another team, but not. I don't. Morehouse is not in a great position to get at large right now.
Okay. So it's either win or in.
For Morehouse.
And same thing. Yeah, Ward and Smith are both in winner in situations. All right, let me ask this question a different way. Which coach, if they win a championship, would be the most surprising to you? Let's put it that way. Maybe instead of asking who's done the best job, which coach, if they lead their team to and I'm not talking regular season, because we know what really counts is, unfortunately, the postseason tournament. So what we're talking about is which coach can win the postseason tournament. Which one would be the most surprising to you?
Hands down, Charlie Ward.
I agree.
You know, Tennessee State has been competitive in the OVC tournament. Morehouse has had tradition in the SIAC tournament. FAMU, last time they won was February.
Right. 2004, or was it 02? 02, I think it was.
Gillespie was coaching.
No, when was 06? 2006. That's when it was. 2006. Yeah. And, you know, hopefully we can walk into the tournament and not be.
Has FAMU even been over 500 since then, Brian? That's my point.
Last season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was last season.
Yeah. So, all right. Charlie.
But of all these, FAMU has not had especially the recent history, like these other two squads have.
Correct. Yeah, I'm even going back 3 years deep. I mean, Tennessee State, even the past 3 seasons, has been at least 500 or better in conference play.
Morehouse has won 20 games 3 times. This decade.
Okay. All right. Edwin says Nolan Smith. All right. Okay. Now, moving on from first year to how about coaches who are first year at their new institution? I got 3 names for you. The first 2 did a bit of a switcheroo. If you remember, Luke D'Alessio, formerly at Fayetteville State, what happened? Was he relieved or was he not? Was his contract not renewed?
I don't even remember. All I know is we wound up with a coaching trade.
Yeah, there was a coaching trade. Essentially, all of a sudden, out of the blue, Devin Hohen, I hope I'm saying his name right. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize, Coach. He was at Bluefield State, resigned at Bluefield State, just kind of, after leading Bluefield State to, I believe, the CIAA semifinals at the tournament, had a great season at Bluefield State, came out of nowhere. And then he resigned. And then all of a sudden, Bluefield or Fayetteville State decided to move on from Luke D'Alessio, who had a winning percentage of 67%. And all of a sudden, I don't know if he was let go. Yeah, Luke, I agree. Leonard said Luke is about to win another shadow. Well, hold tight here. Hold tight, because it gets interesting what's happening here. The most successful coach in Fayetteville State history, let go. And after what I've seen recently, Drew, I think they made a culture change. They not only look at the coaches, look at the age. Fayetteville State made a culture change. They wanted, look, despite Luke D'Alessio being who he was, a winning coach, I believe, I don't have the facts on this, but I believe Fayetteville State wanted to make a culture change. And so I don't know if I got to go look it up, and I should have looked it up because it's out there, But anyway, they made the swap. And hey, both coaches are having success. Somebody look up and tell me, when does Fayetteville and Bluefield State play this season? That's going to be a great game. But both coaches are having success. Bluefield State just beat Virginia Union earlier this week, right? A nationally ranked team. Beat them 72-57, I think was the final score. Bluefield State is hanging around in the upper echelon of the division in the CIAA. Fayetteville State is on a 6-game winning streak. We talked about that earlier. So both coaches are having success right now. It will be quite interesting, though. Will be quite interesting who gets who, and if they play twice, they got to play twice. I'd love it.
They only play once.
Okay.
And they've already played, Brian. It was on December 15th.
Oh my God!
And
early
Bluefield
schedule.
won that game by a score of 81-74.
Wait a minute, who won?
Bluefield.
Ah, look at that. There it is. Fayetteville. So Luke D'Alessio wins the trade by not only getting the win. Now we just got to have them play in the tournament. We got to have them somehow. It just has to work out where they both end up on the same side of the bracket,
or in the championship game,
or in the championship game. One way or the other. Yeah, either to get to the championship game or in the championship game. Okay, so but there's a third candidate, Drew. How about this young lady? Tiara Terry.
Steve, you can't get in this conversation.
Winston-Salem State. 16 in a row from out of nowhere. No one had that on the bingo card. Nobody had that on the bingo. Now, she had success previously where, Drew? Virginia Union, right?
Yes.
Leaves Virginia Union, comes home to Winston-Salem State, and does what she's been doing. So I ask you, chat, first year at their new school, who's having a better year? Coach Devin, Coach Luke, Coach Tiara?
Steve, you can only vote once.
Oh, we know who he's voting for. And of course, again, Winston-Salem State women, Coach Terry, she's the coach of the women's program. So Drew, you want to weigh in there? I gotta go with when you're winning 16 in a row. It's kind of.
There's no debate. Steve hit it on the head right here. Nothing more.
Yeah,
I'm done.
There you go. Exactly. You've already surpassed, what anyone thought was possible. I'm sure when she came this year, I think people were hoping for,
500 this year,
better than last year. 500 would be great.
Yes.
Now you're
she could lose the rest of the season, and she's met their goal.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that because then
I'm
people
just saying,
will be looking at you.
Numerically speaking, yeah. But no, people have expectations now going into the CIW. Look, we haven't even hit February. People have expectations now at Winston-Salem State. Legitimate expectations. They're ranked 22 in the nation. There's 2 HBCUs ranked in the nation right now. Winston-Salem State is one of them. A basketball school again. Yeah, no debate on this one, Brian.
All right. Last bit of coaching thing I'm going to talk about, Drew. Got to talk about this, okay? The Field of 68 put out a jobs ranking survey, okay? And so the Field of 68 is a part of the On3 Rivals Network, for those of you who don't know. And I'm just going to read for you because a lot of people saw these tweets and were like, oh, man, doggone. So let's start over in the CAA on the left side. Okay, here is the parameters. They asked coaches to rank, or what they did is they wanted to do a series in January in which they were ranking the jobs in every league from top to bottom. They're going to do it anonymously, polling veteran coaches, head coaches, and assistants in each conference. So again, they're asking the coaches within the conference. Okay. There is no specific parameters, which is always interesting when you do rankings, right? No parameters. Each coach was able to utilize their own specific parameters to determine their list from top to bottom. However, while recruiting base and facilities were a major factor when they did this exercise back in 2018, Now it's obviously financial resources, i.e. NIL, that are paramount. Okay, so in the conference, in the Coastal Athletic Conference, Charleston seems to be the undisputed team that everyone says, is the best job. Now, again, I always find it interesting when other people are evaluating other jobs. They're like, oh, we're trying to get to what they have. That's how I read that, Drew. I don't know how you read it, but I read it as they got something that we don't have. But anyway, down at the bottom of the list, Hampton and North Carolina A&T.
Bringing up the rear.
Now, it's bad enough that, these two programs bring up the rear in football. But in terms of job rankings in men's basketball, they're there. Now, this came out on Thursday the 22nd. Okay? When that came out, I wonder if that triggered some people. Because when that came out, North Carolina A&T, who was ranked last, defeated two schools that were ranked in the top 4 on this list. They beat Hofstra by a score of 79-78. That was the night it came out. And then on Saturday, they beat Towson 80-73. Of course, Hofstra and Towson ranked 3 and 4. Hampton, who also found themselves playing a team, I think they played the 6th team on that list, Monmouth. They beat them on that Tuesday. They beat Monmouth. Now, they lost their game that they played on Saturday. I don't follow the Coastal, but the Hampton A&T, Drew, I'll say this. They got nicer facilities than some schools in that Southwestern Athletic Conference there on the right.
Here's the problem, Brian.
Yeah.
You had enough money to make the down payment on that Lexus, but you can't afford the maintenance.
That's tough. That's a great analogy.
Trying to be like the Joneses, Brian. But you a forfeit. Hampton and A&T got to remember that.
Damn you.
Trying to be like the Joneses. While they may have the facilities, they are lacking in a lot of the other things that the 11 teams above them on their list have. Financially, amongst one of them. So,
it's interesting to see a note. I see you started that from Ram Nation. There's no football at Charleston. So instantly Charleston basketball becomes the top revenue generating sport, probably the sport where most dollars go to.
And that's an advantage.
It is.
Not having football is a distinct advantage.
Yeah. A&T has only made the NCAAs once in the last 30 years. I don't know what that's. When you live in one bid leagues, I mean, come on now. I mean, that there's some teams on this.
Brian, no.
What?
You're a basketball playing institution in North Carolina.
Oh, so now that matters? Wait a minute. You act like they're recruiting all hometown talent. They're not recruiting kids solely from the state of North Carolina.
Brian, you should get you could have got, especially in the MEAC days, you could have gotten lucky and won one every now and then in the MEAC.
All right. MEAC men's basketball has only won the conference once.
FAMU won a title after A&T last won a title. And we know how long it's been at FAMU.
We done it twice, Drew.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Have Steven proven this point, and have I helped you co-sign on that point?
Co-sign. All right, let's flip over to the SWAC. Look at the SWAC. Excuse me. The SWAC is a little more diverse in terms of what the coaches thought was the best job. you can see Texas Southern, who has had a good run in NCAA tournaments of late. I think prior to last year, which Alabama State, you see Alabama State got a couple of votes. They were the SWAC champs, went to the tournament, won a game. The 2 previous years was Texas Southern. Alabama A&M, interesting, getting 6 first-place votes. And then
I think that new
Bethune-Cookman
facility has something to do with that.
You think the new facility, the AD, has something to do with that?
Yeah. And Huntsville is a technology area, great technology, a lot of technology companies there in the Huntsville area who have started to invest in Alabama A&M athletics.
It may be it's interesting that 2 of the top 3 are in the state of Alabama. Listen to this quote from somebody as to why anonymous, one of the voters in this poll ranking. Why is Alabama State one of the top jobs? Quote, resources. They care about athletics. Montgomery is one of the top 5 or 6 cities in the league. The president and AD are on the same page. Another quote, state of Alabama investing in athletic programs, top tier administration that will pay coaches and players to win. What do you think about those comments?
First of all, that's an indictment on Jason Cable and Quentin Ross. Jason Cable being the athletic director and Quentin Ross being the president there at Alabama A&M on their great work. You know what else helps in Alabama, Brian? You know something else that helps in the state of Alabama?
What's that?
No pro teams. More disposable income for these people. They aren't buying suites at the Atlanta Falcons or New Orleans Saints and all that stuff. So the only place you have to wine and dine people at a University of Alabama game, at an Auburn game, at places like Alabama State, Alabama A&M.
Yeah, but Drew, the only pro team that is near any of these programs is in Texas Southern and Prairie View. I mean, there's nothing.
Southern, you got New Orleans right there.
Okay, yeah, I guess that would count. Okay.
Bethune, you got Jacksonville Jaguars.
But Southern has the largest budget in the SWAC. I mean, didn't that kind of balance out?
Yeah, they also have more sports than anybody too.
Okay, all right, touche.
So I'm just saying, Brian, sometimes things like that play a little bit of a factor, especially in a sports crazed state as the state of Alabama. And I can tell you this because I live there.
Texas Southern coming in at number 1, and based on the totals,
it's because it used to be called the Texas Southern Invitational, Brian. That reputation has a little bit to do with it also. Because think about it, last year was the first time Texas Southern did not make the finals in the SWAC tournament, at least pre-pandemic.
Good point. Great point. What do you make of Bethune-Cookman's one singular first place vote?
He voted for himself. He's got the greatest. The basketball coach has the greatest athletic director he could ever work for.
Himself, exactly.
Talk about the coach and the athletic director were on the same page.
On
Where's
the same
that
page
in the article, Brian?
Exactly, they're on the same page.
Shout out to Reggie Theus, though. No, seriously.
Why? Hold on. Here's the last quote. Why is Mississippi Valley State one of the toughest jobs in the country?
Despite the fact that they have a decent basketball facility.
Wait a minute, what?
Despite the fact they actually have a decent basketball facility.
They do. Here it goes. Quote, no school support. I was told kids can't keep all of their Pell Grant. Awful city. Damn. That's tough. Again, I was told kids can't keep all of their Pell Grant, period. Awful city. Wow.
From talking to some people who have at one point in time or another been associated with that program, unfortunately, some of them things they said have been regurgitated to me in private.
Yeah. All right. Well, the MEAC one hasn't come out yet. Let's just speculate here. Which school do you think will get the attention as the top job or jobs in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference?
It's either going to be Central or Norfolk.
I'm going to say Norfolk or Howard. I'm going to say Norfolk or Howard.
Okay.
I probably would go. I'm guessing. I'm going to say Howard 1, Norfolk State 2. Oh, I didn't know it come out. It had come out already. Oh, it's already out? Okay, see, I didn't know it's already out. So the MEAC one must already have come out. Must have come out today. I hadn't seen it yet. You guys are saying Norfolk is number 1. Oh, okay. That's just it. Okay. Well, it's going to be one of those two. Definitely one of those two. Oh, okay. All right. We'll see. I'm sure it'll come out sometime this week and create a little bit of buzz. All right. You want to do the rankings now, Drew?
Let's go.
All right. Let's do the rankings here. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, time for the BCSN top 5 rankings. We will begin with the NAIA. This is week number 2 for the NAIA women's. We'll have to keep track of this. At some point this season, I hope I don't forget this, Drew, since we didn't start all this the same. But so keep me on task here. This is week number 2 of the NAIA women's. The top
Just say
5.
the latest ranking, and then you'll be all right.
I'll be okay. The latest ranking. After this week, that's all I'm going to say is the latest rankings. You're right, because it's going to be too complicated to try to keep up with how many times.
Like you tried to during football season, and you finally gave it up.
I did. Okay, in the hunt, these are teams outside of the top 5 on the women's side. We've got Rust College, Arkansas Baptist, Philander Smith, Talladega, and Xavier. Ah, man, Xavier. So that would essentially be 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Here we go. Top 5. Number 5 is Wiley College. Wiley. Look at that. Wiley coming in at number 5 of the HBCU AC. Number 4. Stillman College. Very close numbers here. 65.60. Number 3. Oakwood, 73.92. Oakwood of the HBCU AC. Number 2, Paul Quinn. And the number 1 team this week in the BCSN NAIA women's top 5 rankings is Langston Lions.
By a margin.
By a deep margin. Langston is currently, it's crazy. The Langston women somehow dropped outside of the latest NAIA rankings.
Yeah, next ranking doesn't come out until Wednesday.
Okay, that's crazy.
They only do it every 2 weeks on the NAIA level.
All right, so we'll see. They're in the receiving votes category, so let's see if they jump back in. All right, let's go over to the men's top 5 in the NAIA. In the hunt, Talladega College, Stillman. And number 5 is Xavier. Coach Williams, 67.61, coming in at number 5. Number 4, Tougaloo. A couple of points better, 69.54 points. Number 3, Philander Smith. Nice separation there from 4 to 3, coming in at
First team.
77.61 points.
First team in both men and women.
Okay. Oh, good catch. Number 2, Arkansas Baptist, still hanging around, 85.32. And the number 1 team on the NAIA men's level is the Langston Lions. Wow. By a 1/10 of a point more than Arkansas Baptist. That's nationally ranked Langston, number 7 in the most recent NAIA rankings. They are in second place in the Sooner Athletic Conference, 10-3 in conference play, 15-4 overall. Any predictions, Drew? Can Arkansas Baptist overtake Langston going into next week? That's going to be interesting. Two Arkansas schools, exactly. That's interesting too, Edwin. 2 Arkansas schools in the top 5. But Langston, the number 1 men and women's team in the BCSN NAIA top 5 rankings. Congratulations, Langston. All right, good stuff. Let's go to the Division II level.
All right, there we go.
The Division II top 5 rankings. We begin on the women's side with teams just outside of the top 5. Virginia State, Claflin, Clark Atlanta, and Allen University. Coming in at number 5 is Lane, the Lane College Dragons. You know what? I was just looking at Lane's numbers. Lane is actually doing really well right now in the SIC. Shout out to Lane College. I was just looking them up. They are in the hunt. I think like in second place right now in the SIC.
They are.
Yes.
They
number
are.
4.
Like a half game ahead of Tuskegee, if I remember.
Number 4 in the top 5. Edward Waters. First time that the Tigers have made the top 5. I think they were in the hunt last week, jumping into the number 4 spot. Number 3 on the top 5. Fayetteville State. 82.94 points. The Broncos of the CIAA. Number 2. Whoa. Nationally ranked Miles College. Number 2 in the BCSN rankings. That means the number 1 team is the hottest team in HBCU basketball, the Winston-Salem State Rams. Comfortably over Miles. Should be noted, Miles and Winston-Salem State are both nationally ranked in the WBCA Division II rankings that came out last week. Miles is in at number 17 with a 15-2 record. Winston-Salem State is ranked number 22 with a 15-1 record. Surprises, Drew?
No. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at it at all, Brian. The question is, I already told you that we already talked about the CIAA, but we did not talk about was the SIAC and how tough the competition is for the women in the SIAC. 3 of the top 5 come out of the SIAC, Brian.
I see that. All right. Well, let's go over to the Division I side.
Oh, the men, D2 men.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, forgot about that. Thought we were Division II men. Oh, man. Top 5 rankings in the hunt. Morehouse College, Clark Atlanta, Bluefield State, and Virginia State. A couple of these schools we've already talked about today. That's 6. Morehouse at 6. Bluefield State at 8. Here we go. Number 5. Miles College, giving us 2 Miles with both the men and women in the top 5 rankings. Number 4, Tuskegee. Woo, Tuskegee.
So Brian, just to throw it in there, that means the number 16 plays the number 5 and the number 14 this week.
Okay.
Number 5 on the road and number 4 at home.
Tuskegee just had their 8-game winning streak ended back on January 22nd to Fort Valley State, losing 70-67. Tuskegee still in first place, though, 13-2 in conference, 1.5 game ahead of Miles. So a game and a half ahead of them in the standings and about 1.5 points in the rankings. Good stuff. Number 3, Fayetteville State. We talked about them. Coach Hohen. Got to find the correct pronunciation of his name. It's killing me here. Just for my own personal knowledge, I got to figure out how to phonetically say his last name. He 6 games in a row, Fayetteville State has won. So on a nice run right now, Fayetteville State. Number 2, Claflin. Oh, Ram Nation says it's pronounced Hearn. I would have never guessed that based on how it's spelled. Hearn. Thank you. Coach, let's see, Claflin, 74.01. Number 2 in the top 5 rankings. And number 1, Virginia Union. Nice separation there. Still nationally ranked in the NABC latest rankings, coming in at number 22 with a 16-2 record. And Tuskegee got some votes in the receiving votes category. And so there's your top 5. Congratulations to Virginia. I think was Miles the only school, Fayetteville State and Miles, the 2 schools that had a team in both top
Correct.
5s, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now we can go to the Division I men's level.
Division I women.
Division I women's.
You're moving too fast, man.
I am. All right, here we go. Only team that's in the hunt outside of the top 5, Alcorn State, who just got a win on Saturday, actually came to Florida and swept Florida and swept Texas. 4 games in a row, 4-game win streak for the Lady Braves. All right, number 5 in the Division I women's top 5 rankings. Howard University, 78.59 for the Lady Bison. Number 4, Maryland Eastern Shore, 83.12. Interesting. Formerly, weren't they number 1 last week?
Yes.
Wow. All right. We'll talk about how that happened shortly. Number 3, Southern University. Southern by 0.2 of a point over UMES. Southern coming in at number 3. Number 2, Alabama A&M, winners of 6 in a row by an average of 21 points a game, coming in 84.01. That's just less than a point ahead of Maryland Eastern Shore. And the number 1 team now in the top 5, the Norfolk State Lady Spartans. Now, Drew, we were talking about this earlier. Explain to people who may be saying, how in the heck Maryland Eastern Shore is 4-0, first place in the MEAC. How could they be ranked less than Norfolk State?
Maryland Eastern Shore was idle this week. So their points actually are the same amount of points that they had the previous week. It's the fact that everybody else was able to accumulate points and go past them.
Yeah. When you get credit for playing games, put it like that. The computer doesn't like when you don't play games. Other people kind of move ahead of you in terms of point production. So, yeah, again, 3 teams from the SWAC, all sitting at 6-1. Alabama A&M, Southern, and Alcorn State. Of course, as previously mentioned, Alcorn State took Alabama A&M took Alcorn to the woodshed in one of them little doggy huts that they have down there on the football field and beat the snot out of them.
Yeah.
So that's why they're probably in the hunt.
And also, Coach Green, you asked how Norfolk State is number one. Also, you got to remember, Maryland Eastern Shore had a poor non-conference season. They didn't get hot until January. So all the points from the non-conference are starting to show themselves now when Maryland Eastern Shore did not play this past week.
Y'all, this isn't a y'all. Blame the computer. Blame the numbers. The numbers say that, Edwin. We didn't do anything. This is all the
Edwin,
numbers.
Did you see the one loss Alcorn has in conference?
40.
That's factored
42,
in here. So
excuse me. 42.
That's factored in here.
Come on now. Yes.
Somewhere.
You just when you lose by 42, you might as well not even be tied for first place. You should be like 1B. This is a tied for 1A, and then there'd be like 1B.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to the men's side. Congratulations, Norfolk State. We'll see how long that lasts. Once Maryland Eastern Shore starts playing again. Let's go over to the men's top 5 rankings. Norfolk State, Howard, Jackson State, and Southern all sitting outside of the top 5 on the men's level. You guys want to make any predictions here? Any predictions in the chat? Go ahead and make some predictions. Who's going to be the number 1 team? Let's start at the bottom. Number 5, North Carolina Central, 49.48. Number 4, Tennessee State. We were just talking about Coach Nolan Smith earlier, 59.03. Number 3, Florida A&M. Coach Ward, about 0.2 of a point, and the Rattlers are just 0.2 of a point over Tennessee State. So that's a tight race there between 3 and 4. Number 2. A lot of you guys in the chat. You guys thought Bethune-Cookman was going to be the top team. They come in at number 2. That means the top team still resides in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Maryland Eastern Shore, 68.45.
Look at the margin, Brian.
It is interesting because, again, the Maryland Eastern Shore men didn't play either.
Yeah. But they had such a large lead.
Yes. Yeah, I knew the numbers were crazy when I saw the in the hunt numbers. When I saw Norfolk State, when I look at those numbers, I'm like, wow, the numbers are that low. Of course not. No.
So we 2-2-1 on this one, Brian. To be at.
What do you mean? 2
SWAC, 1 independent. As far as your top 5.
Edwin asked a good question. That is a great question. When you should go check out their next game when they do play. I'm gonna look it up right now here for you, Edwin, to kind of tell you.
But can you check it out is the question, Brian.
What do you mean? It is on ESPN?
I've been saying because everybody else, the other 3 conferences have an established place to go watch their game.
The MEAC
you can go to the CIAA
ESPN
network.
Plus.
You can go to the SIAC network. You can go to the SWAC network. You got to pick your poison and figure out where you go to for MEAC. Most of the games are on Plus, but
here's what I can tell you about the Mid-Eastern Athletics schedule upcoming. As of right now, games at North Carolina Central, games at Coppin State are postponed. Maryland Eastern Shore was scheduled to take on North Carolina Central. That's been postponed in Durham. Coppin State was scheduled to play Howard. That has been postponed in Baltimore. Delaware State, assuming that they already got out of Delaware, they will play South Carolina State Monday in Orangeburg. And right now, Morgan is still scheduled to play at Norfolk State. I would caution as to whether that'll happen or not. just because you got to think, Drew, wouldn't it make sense that if you travel, there's a very likelihood that you could get stuck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like I believe some of the teams that some of the women's teams that actually played this weekend after their Saturday game was stuck in the city that they played their Saturday game in.
Oh wow. Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well. Yeah.
So
the next
go ahead.
The next I was going to say the next games in which potentially you'll see Maryland Eastern Shore, Edwin, is Saturday, January 31st. Travel to Delaware State. It's scheduled to be on ESPN Plus.
That's a doubleheader, correct?
Yes. Yeah, should be a men and women's. Yeah, everything in the MEAC is going to be doubleheaders.
No, women play Thursday. Women have a schedule similar to the SWAC.
Really?
Yes. Women are Thursday, Saturday. Men are Saturday, Monday. For the most part in the MEAC. With your doubles on Saturday.
All right. I'm gonna tell you now, this NFC Championship game has gotten drunk. They are just scoring points left and right. No defenses. Every possession, somebody is scoring a touchdown. Every possession. I've looked up and seen 3 or 4 straight possessions and seen a touchdown on every possession. And so we know what the fourth quarter is going to be like. That's going to be amazing. The total opposite of what we saw in the first championship game, right?
And nobody could buy any points.
Nobody could buy. They couldn't kick a field goal, and now we just got points being scored left and right.
We got a joystick game going on.
Yeah, straight joystick game now.
Yeah. Bryan, I got something to do. I had something to do this weekend that I haven't done in a long time.
What's that?
Since we did not have a game this past Saturday, I actually got to sit at home and flip through and watch games. And my first time actually going through the lineup on SWAC TV on a Saturday. And watch.
What'd you think? What'd you think?
Game.
What's your evaluation?
Well, after I got past the time zone difference, because I kept tuning in at the wrong time. Everything was fine. They, just like anything else. There were a couple of moments for
should the schedules that they put on their site, should they show Eastern / Central? Or should because
no.
You think they should stay with Central?
No, what they should do just like we do in the SIAC. Your schedule on your school's website is your native time. So, so if you're a school in the Eastern time zone, you show Eastern time. If you're a school in the Western time zone, you show Western time. The conference website in the SIAC, since we have teams in both in both the Central and the Eastern time zone, since the conference office is based in Eastern time zone, i.e. Atlanta, every game on the SIAC site is in Central time zone. I mean, in Eastern time zone, excuse me. One time on the schedule. So SWAC being based in Central time zone, everything is on Central time zone when you go to the SWAC schedule. You just have to make sure you put the disclaimer at the top, all times Eastern, all times Central, so that when I go and look at it, I know what it is. That was just my bad on my part when I looked at the lineup when I clicked on SWAC TV, that I forgot to calculate the math in my head. 3:00 means I don't have to tune in to 4:00.
Right.
So, but it was fun watching being able to flip through SWAC TV, Bryan. Very, very impressed with the platform.
Yeah, I've been hearing that one of the next updates will allow for the multi-view option.
Or if they get their quad boxes over, Brian. But it is coming though, Brian. I can tell you that it's coming. It's coming to both the SWAC and the SIAC.
Oh, really? Quad box is coming to the SIAC.
Yes.
Good.
There are some improvements coming to to the SIAC network.
Okay. Edwin asked, did you catch the HBCU Go game?
No, I did not.
You know what threw me off is I didn't know the Jackson State Bethune game was on ESPN Plus, apparently, because I kept looking for it because I kept hearing it was a blowout. And, of course, I wanted to see, anytime I could see Jackson State getting blown out, I want to see it. And I couldn't find it. And I kept asking, where's the game? And they're like, it's on ESPN. And then I was like, I can't find it on ESPN. I must have been late to the party, whatever. Because I think that game was at 2 and 4 o'clock. And see, it was on ESPNU. It must have been a 2 and 4 because I was thinking it was a 4 and 6, just like the FAMU games were. Because I watched the women's game against Alcorn. And then,
Yeah. Now, what we do have to get better at, Brian, is making sure that if I go to your school's website and go to your schedule, that we have the link for the game on your schedule and that the link works. When I go to the various conference websites, and the conference pulls the information from the school, so it's not necessarily the conference fault, but that those links work. That's what we have to get better at, Brian. Because if I have to search all over the place for your game, I'm going to watch another school unless you are just my school, Brian.
Right. All right. Well, we'll start to see. Look, baseball and softball is starting soon in the next couple of weeks, actually.
D2 starts this weekend, Brian, weather permitting.
Weather permitting. Wow. Okay.
And D2 and NAIA start this weekend, weather permitting.
Then I think softball and baseball for Division I start the same time.
They start the following week, I believe.
Following weekend, yeah. Wow.
Yes.
And we're already ready for baseball. Man, it's here. Baseball and softball, indoor track and field. This is where it's about the spring sports calendar is bananas. It's about to get nuts. It's about to get heavy. God bless you. God bless you, sports information folks. Say a prayer for our sports information people in the spring. In the next 3 months are going to be their busiest time of the year.
Especially the next 8 weeks. And an unexpected weekend off did wonders for a brother's battery. Now I know I'm gonna have to make up for it when things open back up. But this unexpected weekend off was really refreshing.
There you go. Well, congratulations, Drew. Glad you got a chance to enjoy it. All right. That's going to do it for tonight. That's all I got, Drew. Let's get out of here, man, so we can go enjoy the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game. Seattle with a 31-27 lead. We'll see if they score on their possession. This game is drunk. You can just take the over in players, points, everything, and just sit back and get rich and be happy.
Hey, make sure y'all tune in to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab on Tuesday.
There you go.
Got a treat for you.
I need to know. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were
I would say make sure you check out Bryan and the fellows on Wednesday. On the
I'm getting all kinds of text messages that something must be big happening because they want the Avengers to assemble and start. I don't know what they want to talk about. Something big must be happening at FAMU. I got a feeling it has to do with some schedules, as we've already seen Alabama A&M release their schedules. A lot of other schedules are about to start dropping probably in the next week or two.
Tennessee State, Brian. Tennessee
talk
State.
about that. Yeah.
Before we get out of here, since we're talking about schedules,
Real quick, yeah.
y'all got Alabama A&M on y'all schedule, playing them in a classic. Well, yeah, Sneaker Shop Talk. I need you to chime in on this.
You're gonna make me pull up the Alabama A&M schedule, which
y'all got. We know they just announced that they're playing Jackson State again. Okay, so you got your traditional rival back on your schedule. You got your geographic rival back on your schedule. Where the Rattlers at, man? I mean, for us when we was in college, Brian, that was the game.
Yeah, it was. It was. You know, it'd be now. Who knows? Maybe now in this 4 non-conference game world, maybe it'll happen.
I think they got 4 or 5 now. I think they got 5 non-conferences.
They've got 5 non-conference. Yeah. The question for Tennessee State:
Are they auditioning for the SWAC with all these SWAC components potentially?
That's a good thing. Yeah. What are they auditioning for? Playing a lot of SWAC schools. Will Tennessee State stay if the OVC, if another team leaves? I'm saying now's the time to get out. Be the team to leave.
Y'all break it up.
You be the team to leave. Don't wait on somebody else to leave. Leave now. Get out now, Tennessee State. Get out now. All right. We'll talk. Maybe we'll get into some schedule talk next week because nothing gets people excited more than talking about schedules and being able to make preseason plans, homecoming dates. I do agree with the thought I heard, Drew, that schools should know their homecoming opponent by now. Release that information. Give people as many weeks and months to start planning for homecoming now. I mean, I'm just saying.
Not a bad thought, Brian.
I know people who have already started booking weekends in Tallahassee for some reason. The schedule's not out, but people are booking weekends.
Yeah. I know one place you need to start booking your weekend for, Brian.
What's that?
That's for Atlanta.
What's up? Which weekend?
The BXWAC Challenge.
Who's in it this year, Drew?
The official kickoff to the HBCU football season.
Okay, who's in it?
Obviously, you didn't get the email that was sent out earlier this week.
You're not sending. Yeah, I swear you're not sending me emails. You must.
I need to double check and make sure.
Or they must be going into my spam folder.
That's probably what it is.
But I don't understand why they would be going to my spam folder though. But anyway, go ahead. So
because they don't come directly from me. Alabama A&M and Howard will open up at Center Park Stadium this year.
Ooh, Sam Shade versus Ted White.
So we'll be seeing the coaching debut of Ted White.
Yeah, the coaching debut of Ted White. Yeah, I don't even know how to handicap that game. I don't even know who has what. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, should be a good crowd though. Hopefully. It's in Atlanta. Neither one of those teams. Well, was Howard in Atlanta?
I was there 2 years ago.
Yeah, they were there 2 years ago.
Howard was there not only for the Celebration Bowl, but then they turned around, was back for the BXWAC Challenge.
Who did play in that game? Was that Alabama State?
Yes, Alabama State.
Oh, look at that.
No, they was at I got that backwards. They was at the BXWAC Challenge first, and then a year later they were in the Celebration Bowl. Alabama State Howard, that was the rain game. That was a game that didn't end till 1:30 in the morning because of the 3 rain delays.
Yep. Well, good stuff. All right. Well, I'd probably put Alabama A&M 3.5 points. There you go. There's your early look ahead prediction there. Alabama A&M 3.5 point favorite. just in case you wanted to know. And I'm basing that purely on the fact that one team has a returning coach and the other team doesn't. One team has a returning quarterback, the other team doesn't. Outside of that, I don't know who else is on the roster. Who knows? Jesus.
Who knows?
Let's get out of here, man.
All right, Doc.
Okay, everyone, please, hey, do us a favor. Hit the thumbs up and the like button if you would. Just, hit the button now. Get it out the way. Also, go check out the BCSN Pod Zone on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, BCSN Pod Zone. You can hear the Carlos Brown show from yesterday in case you missed the return of Carlos Brown from injury. And Carlos and the panel did a full show. So glad to see Carlos feeling well, sounding good. So go check out the show from Saturday. And then all of the shows during the course of the week from Dr. Cavill and the HBCU Sports Lab, the ONG Strike Zone, the Brave Talk with Charles Edmond, the Alcorn State Sports Network. All of those shows and more are available on the BCSN Pod Zone. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for rating and reviewing. And more importantly, thank you for sharing and supporting our show for 9 years, the longest running HBCU sports talk show on the interwebs. That's going to do it for tonight.
And thank you to Jason and Tony for joining us today. Jason Breyo and Tony Suber.
Yep.
Of
285 Lacrosse. 285lacrosse.com is the website. Go check out, be a part. February 21st, BT Harvey Stadium, Morehouse College. We'll talk more about it over the course of the next few weeks, but should be a great event if you're going to be in the Atlanta, Georgia area. All right. We'll get the social media stuff together. We'll get the social media team together, Drew, and see if we can create a little buzz out there with our top 5 rankings and watch people lose their minds over it. So that'll be fun to watch for a couple days. All right. For AD Drew, I'm Bryan Fulford. God bless you. Stay safe while you're dealing with Tropical Storm Fern. Nope, not a tropical storm.
Winter storm.
Winter storm. See, I'm down in Florida. Everything's tropical. Winter storm Fern. Be safe wherever you are. And thanks for watching our show. Good night and God bless.
Travel light, everybody. Well, holla.